Imposter. I am Phil Silverman as one of your hosts tonight. This is substitute host for the second, fake Greg Schaefer, also known as David Glacier.
This is David Glacier wearing a Greg Schaefer mask, like in Mission Impossible.
And the person lingering behind him is Greg Schaefer.
That's Tom Cruise.
Greg is actually commentating tonight, but David wanted to join in because he felt left out. We have a match actually already set up.
I'm gonna grab a chair, I guess.
Yeah, go find your own chair.
I'm just gonna
sit down. All right, we're gonna hop down to the play area, be done with the formalities, and we've got two decks ready for you. We got Connor Salinas playing Death and Taxes on the right, and Zeke Spira playing Maverick on the left.
It's a nice taste of the non-blue portion of Legacy.
Yeah, well, we have I'd say we have a larger than average non-blue portion in Chicago.
Yeah, I think compared to like your average SCG, you
probably
have a higher amount of non-blue.
Significantly, I would say. But yeah, two Mother of Runes decks going at it. Yeah. I imagine that's going to be an important part of this matchup. Greg, I'm sure you know a little bit more about it than I do.
Yeah. So I've played this matchup a lot of times from the Death and Taxes side. I think it's close, the matchup overall. I think drawing Aether Vial is very important for the Death and Taxes side. And for Maverick, if there isn't an Aether Vial, I think they're probably favored, actually.
I can see that. The creatures are much bigger.
You got bigger creatures, you got Knight of the Reliquary to pull out lands.
Mm-hmm. You can expose the Maverick mana base much more from the mana denial aspect of Death and Taxes, but again, that's much less powerful when you don't have Aether Vial going.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if Death and Taxes gets a good draw with Aether Vial and Rishon Port, you can just really bully Maverick on mana.
Okay, so I know that Connor has not played this matchup very much. This is Connor's first time playing Death and Taxes, and sort of we could see the inexperience here. He has Stoneforge Mystic in his hand, but elected to lead with Thalia.
Yeah, I mean, Thalia is one of the worst cards in the matchup, and typically it should get boarded out here because Maverick is so creature heavy as well. And getting Stoneforge advantage is pretty big. That is one way. Like, Maverick has fewer Stoneforges and just like a smaller equipment package in general.
Yeah.
But here we see Thalia getting a little frisky. But if that Mother of Runes gets active, this could get bad for Connor pretty quickly.
He does have Stoneforge Mystic. I mean, I think he just has to go for one of the more aggressive equipment here, either Sword of Fire and Ice or GT. Probably just GT.
GT seems good. Although the Mother of Runes is going to make it hard for that to
he's got to find a flyer. One of them Sarah Avengers that Greg hates so much.
Yeah, I mean,
I hate Sarah Avenger too. I'm with you right there.
It's pretty bad.
I mean, it's good in Time Spiral block construction. I'm good at that.
Thank you for that perfect.
I don't want to be unfair.
A ringing
it was good in that format.
Yeah, that's.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
So it looks like Zeke playing Dryad Arbor and a second Mother of Runes. That's going to be pretty annoying.
So here, Connor really wants to draw Phyrexian Revoker.
Yeah, Revoker would be a great draw. Second Wasteland. Honestly, Wasteland's not the worst.
It's not.
Just fire off two Wastelands. I mean, mana screws him too. I don't believe he has another land in his hand.
I would probably fire off one on the white source.
And just hold the other one up for...
paying for your own Thalia attacks down the road, maybe.
Oh, I was going to say just to put in GT.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see what he decides to do here. I know he's another Stoneforge, which doesn't seem great here. Oh, no, it's a port. My mistake. So, I do like... If that's a port, then I definitely like firing off this Wasteland.
Yeah, it seems fine then.
Yeah, going after the white source seems much better.
I agree. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a great draw.
Has it all.
Let's name Mother of Runes.
Hey, CPT, Demir Overlord. Welcome to the chat.
Should I go check what that name? Do we want to make an educated
I think we're pretty
guess?
confident. Yeah, he pointed to Mother of Runes right there, so I think we're comfortable in assuming that that's the right one. Is he going to fetch here?
What if he just named Mother? That's a legal card, right? So
Mother?
that
No,
would stand.
there's no card named Mother.
That was a little magic pithing needle joke.
Oh, joke.
Very topical.
Topical
I see what
joke.
you did there.
Topical humor relating to naming things.
Related to...
Topical humor related to naming things.
Recent SCGs.
Yes. We'll talk about that later, and you know the intricacies therein. Zeke does have his own Stoneforge, which is pretty great here. I know, as you said, Maverick doesn't run as many as Death and Taxes tends to, but it's going to be pretty important for him to keep up in the GTA mirror.
For sure.
Assuming that's what he's getting. Ooh, he's sort of. That is a pretty interesting one.
Main deck Sword of Light and Shadow.
Yeah, I haven't seen Sword of Light and Shadow in forever.
Yeah, I mean the Pro White is very tempting, but I think GTA is still better.
I would agree, and it just dominates creature matchups. I mean, this is pretty great for Connor.
He's ahead by a turn.
Yeah, he has a first striker.
Yeah.
Which is going to be really, really key.
Demir Overlord in the chat has a question about our upcoming Modern 2K. We can talk about that metagame maybe between rounds or something.
Yeah. For those unaware, there is going to be a 2K here at MTG Card Market, a Modern 2K, on January 23rd. It's going to be pretty sweet, I think.
So it looks like Connor just passed, so presumably he's leaving on mana for Stoneforge activation, which makes sense.
Yeah. Ooh, Zeke does have a Kasali Pride Mage here, which is pretty key.
Yeah, that's pretty disgusting.
Important.
I mean, does he even hold it for the GT?
He
Or
probably
just,
blows up the Revoker, right?
that's what I was going to say,
turns
yeah.
on his Mother of Runes.
That's got to be the play, right?
It seems good.
Like, I think Mother of Runes is going to trump the GTs.
It's weak to another Revoker.
Yes.
But, I mean, that's something to consider.
Yeah.
But still, turning your Mother of Runes back on when you have two of them seems worth the risk.
It also means that you're for sure not going to get hit by a GTA next turn. Although he can just wait. Although he should fetch now. Otherwise, he's opening himself up to a Swords to Plowshares on like a Mom in response.
True, and he is fetching. Yep.
Let's see what Zeke just going to probably... I figure this is going to get a basic here.
Basic planes,
No, no.
maybe? No.
Scrubland. Oh, I forget. There's always the light black splash in this deck for Deathrite Shaman and probably a little bit of Abrupt Decay.
Yeah.
Zeke goes for his legal target, takes down Phyrexian Revoker. This is usually where someone puts in Batterskull, right? When you assume they have GTA. Not that Batterskull would be good here.
True.
I assume Connor's just going to put in GTA unless he has something else lingering.
Looks like he has Sword of
He
Fire.
does. He does have Sword of Fire, nice.
Which doesn't really help here.
Nope.
Yeah, I think GTA is just fine.
Yeah, I mean, again, neither of them are going to be good right now.
No.
Like he's losing the mom battle, which is really important. Although he did drop Caracas.
Caracas
Doesn't really do anything though.
The second equipment definitely makes killing the Revoker seem better.
Yeah, yeah, certainly.
Killing the equipment itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's really right now just up to the top of Connor's deck to see if he can draw another Revoker to deal with these moms.
Yeah, Mother of Runes is just dominating this board.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as she always does in creature-centric matchups.
For sure.
And especially without Connor having... I mean, even if he had a Seraph Vendor, he doesn't have a second white to cast it at this point. Or something like a Flicker Wisp. Flicker Wisp would be ideal. Oh, he does have second white. If he has a Flicker Wisp, he can sneak into this game.
Yeah, if he has a flyer,
Although-
he should probably
Actually,
deploy
I don't think
believe
that...
Zeke has another land, so he
Yeah.
has enough to play and equip. Or
Activate and equip.
Activate to put Jitte in and equip.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is a Revoker here. Vryn Wingmare.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a flyer.
But it's a similar
It'd be
problem.
Interesting. I mean,
And Zeke does have the fourth land.
Zeke has to use the Mother of Runes proactively if he wants to get a hit in with this Jitte, because
Yep.
there is a first striker on the other side of the board.
Yeah, and I think he recognizes. I mean, it's going to leave him tapped low on creatures,
Oh,
right?
it's also he has to put it on the Mother of Runes.
He's just swinging in. So
So do you just block
Well,
with Stoneforge
yeah,
Mystic?
never mind. I guess it doesn't matter if he uses the Mother or not, because he can,
Well,
regardless of the first strike.
I mean, this is like not the worst for Connor. He gets to... Do you say no blocks?
I think I have blocked with Stoneforge,
I agree.
right?
Yeah, so right now the Thalia gets knocked off and the Wingmare gets knocked off.
Yeah, because you want to force his hand there
Yeah.
and make him use the other mom.
Yeah.
I mean, it was going to be pretty bad anyway.
It was.
But, because Zeke could have just used the -1 counters to kill whatever the Jitte equipped to
Yeah.
on Connor's turn. Although if he'd had another land... No, never mind. That wouldn't matter. He would just kill it after it attacked.
Yeah. Connor drew Flicker Wisp for the turn, which doesn't really have any good targets here. Like, I mean, ideally, he would be able to go like Flicker Wisp out the Mother of Ruins, make it use itself and hit, but he doesn't have the GT on his creature yet, so he's just really far behind. Usually the first person to get a GT hit in is massively favored.
Yep.
Yeah, and Connor's just going to scoop him up. And I think that's a good concession.
I think he's probably like 5% from that point.
Yeah, something extremely low,
It's tough
right?
to see how he could win.
Just realized we don't have the round marker
Unless Zeke stopped using the Jitte for no reason.
up. If Zeke just decided it wasn't good anymore.
Well, you could draw a Revoker for Jitte.
That's true.
That is, like, basically,
True.
like, you need that and then a lot of other stuff.
Yes.
The Mother of Runes, yeah, you'd have to deal with that. Well, I guess if you had a flyer, it would be okay.
So, how does this matchup change post board?
So it really depends on the specifics of each person's sideboard.
Well,
I
good
happen
thing we
to
know what's in your sideboard.
I have to know Connor's sideboard. So he has one copy of Sunlance. He has a Mangara of Karandor. I think both cards are good here.
The Sunlance saying
Sometimes
non-white,
it's non-white, by the way.
Yes.
so it doesn't kill Mom?
It kills some relevant things. Actually,
What does it
well,
kill?
Does it?
I guess it just kills Deathrite.
This seems terrible.
Yeah, I guess it's not enough. I was thinking about the mirror. I actually bored this in the mirror just to kill Revoker.
Wow, really?
Yeah, Revoker is so important.
That's pretty. That's a resounding statement of power about
Yes.
a goblin piker artifact. Like,
Board in this card that kills one creature, but the creature's so important.
yeah.
That's fair. It did seem very important in that game.
Do you board in Manriki Gusari? Is that in your sideboard?
If I had it in my sideboard, I would.
Oh, no.
Instead, there is a Council's Judgment, so I would board that in for sure.
Well, I would say that's almost just better in
The
this matchup.
Thalia's come right out.
Thalia seems very poor.
I think he's probably going to leave in some amount of Rin Wingmares just because flying is really good.
Yeah.
And from Zeke's side, he also wants to take out his Thalias, I imagine.
Yeah, although does the Maverick does it play 4 Thalias?
It depends. I think some do, some don't.
Typically, 3 to 4.
3 to 4, right? I don't know, the numbers in Maverick always mystify me.
Yeah, like
'Cause they
2 Stoneforge.
Stone-
Yeah, stuff like that. It's like the only thing that I can always be certain there's 4 of are like Knight of the Reliquary and Mother of Runes.
Yeah,
There's probably 4 Deathrite as well.
probably.
And then, Green says, ooh, Zeke does have a nice one in Zealous Persecution in his sideboard.
Yeah.
Now that's
beating?
Spicy meatballs.
How many veteran armorers are in your sideboard today, Greg?
I have 0. I have two copies of Bolt Leaf Leash.
He wouldn't listen to me about putting...
Would that be good?
You could do it. You could do it because
I mean, it's slow, but
it is.
It's very slow. It means some of your creatures win in combat against theirs, but I don't know how much that really matters because Maverick creatures are just so much bigger anyways. Like, I think you're mostly winning by attacking in the air and establishing equipment dominance.
Protection from Zealous Persecution could be worth it, but it's probably just not worth getting it stuck in your hand.
Yeah, that seems really, really poor, especially in a Wasteland mirror. I mean, obviously you have way more basics as a Death and Taxes player, but I'm not sure if it really matters. Maverick usually has 4 Thalia. Sure, yeah. I mean, 4 certainly seems like the right number of that card in Legacy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
it's just so important in your non-blue deck to draw that against combo decks to have a shot.
Yep.
Like, I would like playing Storm, for instance. If like my opponent had like 3 Thalias in their deck, I would just jump for joy.
Sure.
It's just like lowering that chance that much.
and
to
be
make a draw.
DQ'd immediately.
Exactly.
For jumping
Ah,
without authorization.
Yeah, you need to get a judge's permission to jump in sanctioned tournaments. All right. Both players looking at their 7-card hand. Connor's looks pretty good. He's got a removal spell. He's got a couple Revokers. Couple plow,
swords.
couple Revokers, Wasteland, and Port. That seems great.
Yeah, his hand's fine.
Basically everything but Aether Vial.
Yeah, I would definitely leave on basic planes, just to have the option to be able to plow a turn 1 Mother of Runes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I see a guy has Cradle, 2 Knight of the Reliquaries, a Windswept Teeth, and some other guys.
I believe it's
It's
Zealous
Zeke's
Persecution
hand.
as well.
Nice.
Oh, he does have the
There's
turn 1
Mother of
Mom.
Runes.
Let's see if he fetches a basic planes here.
Right off the top.
Most certainly plow
And
that.
getting swords.
Yeah, it's gone. So Zeke's staying at 20 life here. If he goes for the non-basic, yeah. Connor's got to fire up. No, sir. Are we going for the basic planes?
I wonder if Connor licked his
It's
lips.
a good thing to think about. I mean, you are a 2-color deck, so it's hard to
3.
play around it. Or 3-color, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, with like the sideboard cards, it effectively becomes a 3-color deck post-board, like stuff like Zealous Persecution. I imagine Abrupt Decay is in a 75. Ooh, Port. Port is just as good. I actually think Port is better here
Yeah,
than
it lets
Wastelanding.
you develop your own mana.
And when your second land is a Gaia's Cradle with no
Ooh.
creatures,
I think we might see
That's-
Wasteland come down here.
that's the equivalent of bleeding in a pool full of
Oh, yeah,
sharks.
Man, this is snap off Wasteland on Savannah here, right?
I think so.
Do you just run out a Revoker and name a random card then?
Probably not. It's too valuable. I would
Oh, he has
most likely still port Gaia's Cradle.
no way. Really?
Quite possibly.
The most that could tap for is
Is
one. There's no way for it to tap for more. He's not playing elves.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't-
I don't
It's
think
tempting
I'd
to get a
run that.
creature down when you can. Though.
It is.
Yeah, that's
But
what
then
I'm thinking.
Next turn you can keep porting.
All right, so-
Yeah, that is true.
yeah, that was my thought. Like the
You
most.
you could just name Kasali Pride Mage. That's probably what I would go for in the dark.
Yeah, because you don't want to turn off your own GTAs. You don't necessarily want to turn off your own moms.
It also just like protects itself,
Yeah.
and like you want to name
Let's
a
do
card
it.
that's not in your own deck.
Yes.
Even though in other scenarios you would potentially name a card in your own deck.
All right, we'll see what Connor decides to name.
Yeah,
here.
this one's gonna be a little less clear, so I'm gonna go ask.
All right, thanks.
Skill testing moment.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah.
All right, looks like Zeke is going to fetch here. Let's see if he decides to find a basic this
So
time.
he's got another Mother of Runes.
Nope, just going for the scrub land. Connor does have another Swords to Plowshares, though, and another Wasteland.
Oh.
Jeez.
Perfect.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see.
And despite the fact that he had a green mana open, Zeke did not use that mana.
Yep.
Connor's a smart boy.
What do you name?
Solid Pride Mage.
Hey, good call. All right,
Greg
so
approved.
let's see if Connor decides to Swords here. I have to imagine you Swords and then just waste it.
It seems like you need to swords that. Yeah.
Yep, he Swords, puts Zeke up to 20, attacks for 2, down to 18.
Does Connor have another land?
He has a Wasteland.
Okay. I think I would just port.
Yeah, he's just gonna port the scrubland past the Zeke. Zeke has 0 mana at the moment, and
Draws Mother.
draws mom. Yep, he's just got a bunch of uncastable cards in his hand. That seems great. Yeah, I think he does have the death rate though. This is pretty perfect if you're Connor. Ooh, and he drew Mother of Runes. Good lord.
Yeah, I mean, if Zeke ever gets out of this, he has Zealous Persecution to catch up.
That wouldn't be bad.
He has to draw like running lands though.
That's also like it's also like a pretty hard thing to get through just because of that's such a hard card to cast given that he has Cradle out as his only land. Oh, it draws Sylvan Library there. Goodness. There's a pass back.
It's not going well.
Yeah, now this Revoker is just safe forever. Council's Judgment, which is not imminently castable nor necessary. I think Connor's just got to be content to beat down for 2 here.
Yeah, you definitely don't swing with Mom.
No, I agree with that. I'm just interested to see what he decides to do with his mana.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you want to Wasteland here? Just going to port? I think porting is fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Wasteland your port.
Sure.
Nothing much you could do
It's
about
pretty
that.
good. That is probably the best land you could have drawn.
Yeah.
Well, there's no reason to waste right there.
No, that was a little quick on Connor's part. It's very possible he wanted the mana on his turn, depending on what he drew. Ooh, he drew Horizon Canopy.
Well, good to draw a land. And Zeke is still at no mana on board.
Connor taking 1 here from the Horizon Canopy.
2 mana for another Revoker. I wonder what this goes after. Maybe Night of the Reliquary?
Maybe not. That would be my guess. He could name Sylvan Library, right? No.
Well, you could name it.
I'm sorry.
It
Does
would
it do
not.
anything?
It would not.
Does it not
stop
do
its
anything?
Ability, I don't think.
I only get confused about this. Okay, yeah. So I only get confused because of this version. No,
Something
no,
with
no.
a colon
This
on there
version.
somewhere?
Yes, this one.
0. That is poor templating if I've ever
I
seen
would
it.
agree with that. It's not the best templating I've ever seen.
Alright, so Zeke finds white mana, and so I guess he's probably getting Savannah here. And gets
sure-
to play a Mom.
I'm sure that means Connor is just going to draw another Wasteland.
He
now.
drew a white source, so he can just Council his Judgment, the Mother of Runes.
I assume that's what's going to happen here.
I think just keeping the board clear seems... Yeah, I mean, offering a trade is fine
Well,
as well.
it's also effectively a Wasteland because it turns off his Cradle for mana.
True. Yeah, I think we'll see him. Yep.
I think
That's what it
Zeke
looks
took
like.
4 there.
Yep. I just want to see what Connor's going to do here. Perhaps asking a judge about how a card works. Oh, just
Ooh,
Flicker Wisp.
Flicker Wisp. And he might reset a Revoker.
On Mother of Runes? I think this is... Okay, so this is where...
I don't mind that.
Well, the
He's
problem
so far ahead right
the problem
now.
with this is this doesn't play. This sort of puts you in a really awkward spot if Zeke draws a black mana next
Yeah,
turn.
and then it's a 4-for-1.
He's gonna get absolutely destroyed by Zealous Persecution if he draws a black mana.
Well, wouldn't that be true anyway?
But now
No,
it's-
because he could have Council's Judgment at the mom, and that would have taken away the mana. Like it takes away. Oh no, I guess you're right. Never mind. You're right. It just means he has one more creature.
it's
in
one
play.
more card.
Oh
and he drew
no!
it.
Had it.
Oh
No,
goodness!
that's
not?
what I like to see.
And
Zealous Persecution is a nice one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we can all agree on that.
let's pull
right
up
now.
Zealous Persecution for a second here.
In the matchup where it's good, it's a very good card.
Are you saying
protection?
when this card is good, it's good?
It's really good.
Yeah, those are all
VG.
dead. Ooh, that was gross.
Yeah, so, I mean, by playing the Flicker Wisp, Connor was going for the kill,
Yes.
and he did get very punished for doing
He
so.
certainly did. And now Zeke is very much in this game. He's got
Active Mom and a full hand.
Active Mom, Stoneforge Mystic, multiple Knight of the Reliquaries, third Phyrexian Revoker.
Probably naming them Mother of Runes.
Yeah, that's certainly naming Mother of Runes. So there's a Wasteland.
4 lands.
Wasteland, which doesn't really have text right now. I think we see Knight of the
Knight.
Reliquary plus Scavenging Ooze. Or
That would be nice. That's a good
yeah,
use
and
of
Ooze
mana.
is a huge game here. Being able to gain this life, some of the life back that Connor has been attacking him from.
Connor drawing both cards off his Horizon Canopy. Sorry,
Well,
one draw step, one
yeah.
Horizon Canopy in reverse order.
So he has a Plains, Council's Judgment, and one other card. Council's Judgment can go after,
Anything.
anything here, but
It's not enough.
no, it
Yeah.
really isn't. Like, this Knight is already huge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's an 8/8. Mother of Runes is a beating. Scavenging Ooze is going to get huge.
Yep.
There's a ton of food.
Unfortunately, Connor has fallen victim to the one-of sideboard card.
It's going to be good.
What
I
do you
mean,
do?
the card's there to blow out. Like to completely blow someone out. That's how good it is. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I was wrong. Knight's a 9/9.
Sure.
That is a big creature for
Well,
3
Draw
that's
mana.
enough to kill it.
It's a good use of 3 mana, a 9/9. I prefer 9/7s for 1 mana, but that's also acceptable.
A lot of lands have died in this game.
Greater Night Gadon.
Greater Night Gadon, that's the one. How did you know?
You just combine them.
See,
I mean, Knight of the Reliquary and Greater Gargadon have some strong
it's
similarities.
exiled.
that is exiled. Slight. It is relevant here, given that there is a Scavenging Ooze in play.
Oh, yes.
Okay, they got it, Greg.
They heard you opening the door.
Yeah, they just knew. All right, Scavenging Ooze getting in for 2, maybe more.
It looks like it's going to be some. Although I think if Zeke has another... Yeah, he's going to play his other creature.
Which is another Knight of the Reliquary.
It's a good thing to do.
Thank you, David.
As opposed to just like eating more creatures out of the graveyard. Oh, Stoneforge, sure.
This is in fact Legacy, yes.
I think people might be skeptical because there are a distinct lack of blue cards.
Yeah, no blue cards, just Mother of Runes.
Yeah, a lot of creatures.
Bunch of Stoneforge Mystics, Scavenging Ooze, modern cards like Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah,
And Zealous Persecution.
we'll see on Monday.
Yeah, well, we will see. Not sure if that one's gonna happen. Pretty skeptical.
Phyrexian Revoker is legal.
What happened on Monday?
There,
Oh, the bannings. Yes.
Yes. Mirror Crusader,
It's a good
Crusader.
one, but
kind of, still gets completely
later.
browned by the completely
destroyed by
brickwalled.
Jitte.
Well, also just brickwalled by Mother of Runes.
Yep.
On the plus side.
Wait, what? Has a Mother of Runes been revoked?
Oh, my
Oh,
mistake.
good
Well,
point.
thank you. We both forgot.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't actually have.
But he does have Kasali Pride Mage in his hand.
Okay, sure. Why
Well,
not?
that'll do it.
Really, Zeke just has a wealth,
He didn't play it.
a number of riches. 4 mana for
Sylvan.
Sylvan Library, and I guess 2 more activations of Scavenging Ooze.
Are we sure he has Kozali Pride Mage?
Yes. I saw it in his hand.
He's waiting to set up for one big turn, maybe.
It seems like
Ooh, so what? So if he draws,
it seems like it's very risky to allow Connor to
he can chump block. He has,
get a hit in. Well, what if he had like a Jitte or something?
You can still chump block. You can always,
Sure, but if you blew up the Revoker, you could prevent it from gaining any counters by blocking with Mother.
I agree. No, I think I would have preferred that. Oh, there's another. You mean 2 Zealous Persecution, correct?
Two's
Okay.
better than 1. Actually,
It's
one is about all you
I actually
need.
think 1 is perfect.
One's
One's
perfect.
usually all you
But
need.
you play 2 so you can draw 1.
Exactly.
That's the rule.
Or you can sack out and draw both.
I mean, that's good. Sylvan Library helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Pride Mage right there. So he can Pride Mage, kill Revoker, and then just bash with Knight for Knight and the other thing. The other thing.
The other thing.
You can also just put Jite on something, and that's probably good enough. So that kills Phyrexian Revoker. Worth a shot. Try and see if he wants to destroy this.
What about an Aethervile
Aethervile?
Spellskite split card? That would be a nice one.
That wouldn't be bad.
It's the
that would make
perfect
it-
ability for Aethervile to have, since it becomes useless
Yes.
later on.
after turn 3.
Yeah.
So Zeke missed out on a 1 mana this turn by not by sacking the Knight right away. So the Solid Pride Mage right away. He lost a mana on his Gaia's Cradle.
And lost a potential Exalted trigger, were he only to attack with 1 creature.
La la.
It's pretty likely he attacks only 1 creature
Yes.
because of the Mirror Crusader.
Really?
I guess it's kind of free. No, you definitely want to point deck with 1.
How
1,
many
2,
is this?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
This is
8,
many
9, 10.
damages.
It's 10.
Okay.
10 spot.
I don't think the 1 damage will be too relevant in this scenario.
Well, it would have been close to lethal.
Would have been close.
Because he could have if he maybe could have wastelanded himself. Not really.
But next turn, I mean,
All right, so
It's over.
So Connor needs to draw Wrath of God.
Wrath of God, yeah. A common
That is not in the
sideboard
sideboard.
card.
That's gonna be it. Maverick taking down Death and Taxes in 2 games right there.
This was a mono-white Death and Taxes deck.
Shroud
Yes,
in
for
the,
the
chat. There are some builds that splash red
Yes.
currently, but typically Death and Taxes is mono white. Did they knock the camera again?
No, it looks fine.
Okay.
I hope so.
Great. I'm glad we could be here with your positivity. Thanks, David. You can hop back to the booth for a second. Our clever little
Where are you?
There you are. Get in
Off
here.
camera.
Do you want to go out and see
Yeah,
what's
I'll
on the
go
match?
look.
Sorry,
No, you're good.
2's company, but 3's a crowd.
Mhm. I'm the crowd.
Is that the phrase?
It's something like that. Yeah.
Great.
Close enough.
So I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been known to play an Urza's power plant or 2
Or 3.
or 3.
Never 4.
Nope. Why would you play 4?
Don't want 4 of that card.
For what it's worth, I have seen registered decks with like 4 towers and then like 3 of the other 2.
I've seen something like that.
3 between John Loudis playing Shardless and Jason Wang on Yield Faithful.
They have game 3.
What's the old
Who's
place?
who's the
Doomsday.
who's the
Oh,
first
that's
person?
John Loudis,
How do you spell his name?
normal John with an H,
I-
and then Loud, I-S.
Great.
Yep.
um,
And our Jason Wang.
Yeah.
I know how to spell that.
On the
HWANG.
So this is gonna be Shardless Bug
What's it called?
versus Doomsday.
Yes. Are they there? Are they gonna be there?
They're getting there.
Okay, they're still moving away.
Poor
We'll talk
Connor.
real quick.
Anyway, yeah, Urza's power plant. You should play
so
4.
I was gonna say.
That's what you're gonna ask.
Well, I'm saying you've cast an Eldrazi or 2 in your lifetime. What are
Yes.
your thoughts on the new Eldrazi?
I haven't really thought about them.
Not even a little bit. You
Not-
haven't
not
thought.
really.
You haven't thought not about them.
I haven't thought not about them. I mean, the new Eldrazi's are kind of. They wouldn't really go in a Tron deck. They would just. Well, maybe you could play Tron pieces with them, but they'd be more in like that.
The Eldrazi deck.
Yeah, that. Small Eldrazi deck or whatever you want to call it. With the,
It's mono, it's like it's usually like a base black Eldrazi deck.
Yeah.
Although honestly, there doesn't really if you're so the versions that I've mostly seen around. I mean, they're base black, but they don't need to be.
Yeah, I've seen a blue black version.
There's blue black.
white,
Almost
black,
every
white.
version is base black.
Yeah.
Because they're playing Wasteland Strangler.
Also Urborg.
Yeah,
Urborg
Urborg is a
something.
big reason to be black.
Yeah. Urborg plus Ayavugan is Pretty gross.
But a lot of these new Eldrazi are pretty powerful, and I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. That one with the that makes them discard seems quite good.
That's the one.
Exile.
Thought Not Seer.
Thought Not Seer.
It makes them exile a card, which is an enabler for the other Eldrazi's for the processors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
exile.
Wasteland Stringer.
Yes, and it only gives them their card back, afterwards. Sort of like it's sort of different. It's more closer to like a Brain Maggot than a Vendilion Click.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a powerful card.
Some have called it the Tide Hollow Sculler of colorless Eldrazi.
Yes, I haven't heard that, but I'll take your word for it.
Some have called it that.
Just, my keep game 2 was a little sketchy.
That was fine.
All right, two players shuffling up right here.
Perfect turn.
This is
I also
Jason,
played
right?
it, it's also-
Yes, that's definitely Jason.
Yeah, you didn't need to play the flickerless. That was the one thing.
All right, players shuffling up right now for a game 3. On the left, we have John Loudis playing Shardless Bug.
Yep.
And on the right, I certainly hope. I'm pretty sure I recognize Jason shuffling,
You're right.
which is important. We got Shardless Bug versus Doomsday. Notice I have not called it Shardless Sultai because usually I get a lot of pressure from the chat whenever I call something Sultai.
Yeah.
They get really mad at me. Apparently there's no such thing as Sultai Delver. Let's see what Jason's doing. So Jason's decks are always pretty interesting to me because he tends to be much more artifact-centric in order to enable Mox Opal. And Mox Opal is an incredibly powerful card, but it has a lot of deck-building restrictions put into it. Stuff like he has to play like Seed of the Sign out of his deck.
He also usually plays a lot of tops. I guess you want to, though, in
You
Doomsday?
almost always play 4 tops in Doomsday.
Okay.
At least certainly in Legacy Doomsday, just because it's part of your piles.
There's the seat.
I think he has a Ponder on turn 1. Look, I saw an Lion's Eye Diamond in his hand, so we'll see how close he is to comboing. This is a matchup where emptying can be good enough if he's going for a Storm Kill. I know Jason has played Mentors in a sideboard of this deck, but I don't think I would be interested in bringing in Mentor in this matchup.
Not against a Tarmogoyf deck.
No, I think you just want to try and kill them. Shardless Bug traditionally has a pretty tough time against fast combo, and Doomsday has fast draws. They can kill you on turn 1, but it's got a lot of weird pieces to it. All right, Thoughtseize. We can see what's going on in Jason's hand. Probe, LED, Cabal Therapy, Burning Wish, Petal, Thoughtseize. That is
Organized by color.
pretty. Yeah,
Conveniently
There you go.
for everyone.
blue, red, black, and brown.
Takes Cabal Therapy. So does that suggest to you that John has Forcible in hand?
That suggests to me that he has 2 of the same card in his hand,
Okay.
or 2 pieces of Disruption.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, he's thinking about this one again. This is a tough decision. I mean, the fact that Jason has 2 active pieces is kind of scary. I think I'm more tempted to take a Burning Wish here. Burning Wish, or perhaps Lion's Eye Diamond.
It is scary that it'll leave them with Probe and Therapy.
It looks
Yes,
like,
it is.
Alright, so it looks like John has 2 Forcibles.
Oh,
which
I
is
see.
why, yeah.
Yeah, he's just got to take the Cabal Therapy then.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, I mean, you take what you have to take here.
Right.
It makes, and plus Jason doesn't even have a black mana yet. Like you'd have to use this Petal. But all right, we'll see. I think we're just gonna start with the Probe here.
Now we see John's logic.
Force, Brainstorm, Tarmogoyf, Wasteland, and Bayou.
Pretty decent hand.
Good hand.
This is a good hand. I mean, he can pitch the Brainstorm to the Forcible, which is pretty good. He doesn't have to use both forces at once. He has Pressure and Tarmogoyf, which will be only a 1/2 at the moment. Unless Jason puts one of these artifacts into the graveyard.
Yeah, only sorceries in the
But
grave
once
so
that
far.
Wasteland hits Sita's sign on,
Ooh,
forget about it.
Yeah.
It's
great.
triple that clock.
We have temporarily 3 people in the booth. Satsu Kawai. Oh, I meant to do this. I'm gonna regret this.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's true. We have welcomed a new moderator, Satsu Kawai. He's just gonna start banning people left and right.
That's
and there's
okay.
just nothing we can do about
That's
it.
how you moderate a channel.
Yeah, it's true. All right, Jason casting Ponder here and shuffling, not saying anything he wants. Keeping the 1 card he drew off Probe.
Oh boy.
It-
What is it?
Or either
For now.
off Probe or from his hand. He has 2 unknowns. That Ponder is actually not in his hand yet. The cards in the middle of the table are ones in his hand that John knows about. That's why they're not. The Thoughtseize is not in play. It is not attacking. It's not in the red zone.
They're ready to block.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's in the red zone.
Burning Wish is the red zone. Let's see what John decides to do this
I
turn.
didn't realize that was a joke.
It wasn't.
I think you have to
It was
deploy the
funny,
Goyf.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to attack. It depends what John drew this turn. If he drew Deathrat Shaman, I would play that instead.
Looks like he drew Verdant Catacombs,
Yeah.
right? Because that wasn't there last
Nope,
time.
that's the only card. It looks like he's just going to pass,
Yes.
holding up Brainstorm. I'm not a fan of this. I think I
Yeah.
would much rather get Tarmogoyf into play.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
get Tarmogoyf down.
We'll see what Jason's going to do here. Jason's got a lot of disruption to fight through. Third Ponder, pretty good. We'll see if he finds anything he actually wants this time. No, I think he's just all in. Oh, he found a Scalding Tarn, so he can at least find black mana, fetching either a polluted Badlands or a Underground Sea.
Mm-hmm.
How many colors is Jason's deck?
I think 5.
I think it's also. I definitely. No, I think it's 4.
Is everything but white?
Everything but green.
Oh, green. Sorry.
He
don't
might
know
have green
white
cards.
would
Oh, he
be-
might have Decays in his sideboard. Traditionally, Jason has favored Pyroblast over Decay for his anti-counterbalance tech.
Mhm.
But I know I've not been a fan of that just because Decay is a much more versatile card
Yeah.
and helps specifically against Chalice of the Void. But when you're playing Burning Wish, you can get away with stuff like, I don't know, probably not Pulverize.
Rain of Salt.
Yes, he could get Rain of Salt out of his sideboard.
Destroy 2 lands.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much better than that.
It seems like a
doesn't.
chasing card.
Ooh, we see Dark Ritual in his hand.
Does he have Doomsday?
Ooh, I think he's playing Lion's Eye Diamond here.
It does seem like that is in play.
Yep, he is on the stack. Seeing if John wants to counter it. Yeah, you can read it.
You should read it.
Can't envision forcing this.
No, generally I think this is a trap, but I mean, weirder things have happened. It's not that like if it's wrong to force a will it, it's not wrong by that much. But Jason knows that John only has one blue card and 3 blue cards in his hand, I should say.
Yeah.
I see. That's why he's led with it. He found the Mox Opal, and this will let him cast Thoughtseize without blowing his Lotus Petal.
Thoughtseize could get kind of blanked here. Although he would have to hide both Force of Wills to really
Yeah,
do
the
what he
risk-
wants it to
hiding
do.
both Force Wills, I'd be afraid of
Dying.
dying
Yeah.
if you did that. But he's going to lead with Dark Ritual.
Yep. Brainstorm in response.
Okay.
Just looking for
More blue cards.
more blue cards.
He
I
found
guess.
2 blue cards there.
Well, that's
Shardless
about
and
as
Ancestral Visions?
well as
Yep.
you can do. So
Probably
I guess
put back 2
put
lands.
back 2 lands.
Land,
yeah.
2 lands, land. I think 2 lands or land Goyf is what's going to go back, as long as the.
He's got 3 lands in his hand, I think. So
Yeah.
putting 2 back seems
2 back.
No,
and
he
then
has 2.
fetching.
2.
He has 2 because he has
Yeah.
4 blue cards in Tarmogoyf and 2 lands.
Well,
2 lands go back
Yeah.
because he had the Wasteland and he drew a land off of that. I think this is a very reasonable card to force a will.
I think he still has a Misty in hand.
I think so too.
Possibly. It would have meant he put back the Tarmogoyf though. I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, that could be.
Let's see if Jason decides to do anything. Yeah, he has Tarmogoyf in his hand. He doesn't Misty. Huh. I must have miscounted. Oh, John's going to fetch them away.
I would be kind of interested in keeping the Wasteland.
I was gonna say the same thing.
To sign out if I were.
Yeah, especially because it turns off Metalcraft.
Yeah. It's a functional Rain of Salt
It's a function.
at this point, but instead
Wow.
of 6 mana, it just costs a land.
Wow, I can't believe you actually worked that in
I worked it in,
appropriately.
and it totally works.
You know what? We're going to pull up Rain of Salt.
I am talking about it a lot. We should let people know what it does.
Rain of Salt, right here. This is a good one.
That gets 2 lands for the price of 2.
Yeah, when people say
Stone
double
Rains.
stone, when people say double
Quite
stone,
literally,
it's
a double stone.
2 stone rains stapled together.
Stapled
Yeah.
together. Still counts.
Oh, yeah.
Still only takes 1 card.
Yeah. All right, John drew a Polluted Delta for the turn. His hand right now is Land, Goyf, Shardless Agent, Force of Will.
Yeah, land. Goyf Wasteland would just be perfecto this turn.
Imagine
And
it's
it would
just
be huge.
Goyf Pass.
Yeah, I mean, I think jamming
Well
Shardless Agent
played,
is
Goyf.
really greedy.
Yeah.
I mean, it just turns you off Force of Will. Like, you're not really. I don't even know what you're trying to
I
hit
think
there.
he's passing.
He's passing?
Or
No, I
maybe
think he was just
asking
asking.
for
No, I think Jason was
Less
just looking through his
cards.
sideboard.
Oh.
John's gonna fetch here.
Looks like he's playing Shardless Agent.
Ooh, that's.
Spin the wheel.
I mean, I'm I'm a fan. I'm a firm believer that greed is good, but this is very greedy.
I just don't know why. Why else he would be fetching now.
I don't know either.
It's probably true.
Yep.
Let's see what he hits.
Probably him to
Spin
start
the
off.
wheel.
Discard or Ancestral Visions, I guess. Anything else is not great.
Yeah,
Like Death Ray.
Yeah, like Death Ray is really poor here. I mean, like it's a good card, but
It's fine. I mean, it's fine except that it took his blue card out of his hand.
yeah. Now he doesn't have Force of Will available. Like Jason's gonna cast the Thoughtseize, but he doesn't even have to take the Force. He
He probably will.
It's
but-
true. He does have Thoughtseize, so I guess maybe it's. But Tarmogoyf's just a I don't
faster
know,
clock.
Faster clock. Actually, I guess knowing that he has Thoughtseize, maybe it's more reasonable to try and hit
To go
a
for
discard
it.
Spell of your own.
That's possible. I mean,
Yeah.
Desert Shaman theoretically is the worst hit in his deck.
Yeah,
Like
it's certainly a bad one.
Like maybe there's something like a Null Rod in his deck he could have hit. Like a Null Rod would have been probably game over.
That would have been.
Does it
yeah.
kind of seem like
Very
the
good.
problems that John is faced with right now kind of spring from not playing Goyf on turn 2? Like he's just getting put into a worse and worse spot, and now like the Tarmogoyf is still just rotting there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Jason might take it.
I mean, he would be in sort of the same situation, except
Yeah, he takes Goyf.
Yep.
well, there's no
That's
other
crazy.
blue card.
It's Terminate.
Actually, it's just Thoughtseize.
Sometimes Thoughtseize is a terminate.
Yes.
Just like
Thoughtseize
Wasteland
can be
is
a
a
lot
rain
of
of
things.
salt.
Yes, just like Wasteland is a rain of salt. I agree.
With about the same frequency.
It's like when you Wasteland a Cradle. If Jason drew a ritual this turn, I'm wondering. Never mind. This is just game over.
Yeah. I
No, it's not. It's not game over. It's okay. This is actually really weird. They took the Goyf because he's not going to be able to kill him this turn, unless he has what Dark Petition. No, he still doesn't have a way to draw.
Is he just going for empty? Or no, empty's not good enough.
It's only 4 spells.
Yeah.
All right, so Jason floating a bunch of mana here, 7 mana. Honestly, this is all predicated on what he has in his sideboard. But without a way to draw, he can cast Doomsday, but oh,
All right.
oh, I see. Oh, I see how it is.
So, and if you ever wanted to see a hand motion that represents what Time Spiral does, I believe
was
Jason
it.
just did it.
Squish them together.
I think this is a Chinese copy of Time Spiral.
I think that's exactly. He was describing it. It's Time Twister, but I untap my lands.
Yeah.
This is usually a much more insane card in Vintage when you have something like Tolarian Academy.
Yes. Although Seed of the Synod doing a pretty good Tolarian Academy impression.
Yeah, if it was the only artifact in play, yes,
Yeah.
pretty strong. Jason's gonna get to untap these 2 lands off of the Time Spiral. Man, I do. Jason's decks are always enjoyable for exactly this reason. You just
Everyone loves a Time Spiral.
no clue what's gonna happen at any point.
Yeah.
So I think Jason has a mana floating now, right? Or no? Did he
yes,
use it all up?
he does.
Yeah, 'cause
1
he
mana
had 7, right?
of his choice.
Yes,
In fact,
likely black.
he didn't really need to tap that Mox Opal. But, I guess he wanted to because now he doesn't
No,
have Metalcraft
he-
anymore.
He also needed to tap the Mox Opal for. I guess he could have used the
The pedal.
for red mana.
But yeah, it made sense to tap it since he's off Metalcraft.
Oof. Looks like he drew a lot.
It's 3
of
lands, 7, 3 lands and multiple probes.
Yeah, multiple probes.
Not great.
Not the
Not
best.
the best.
He is. Has he played a land this turn? Yes, he has. He played the Swamp.
I think we might see Probe and Cabal Therapy get paired.
But John's hand is also terrible.
Is that
What
a
is-
Notion Thief?
It is definitely a Notion Thief.
That's a Notion Thief in the center there.
There's a Sensei's Divining Top. Jason, again, he just has a bunch of lands. He's like no mana to do this with. I feel like the Notion Thief is going to get taken here off of a Cabal Therapy.
Does he have a Cabal Therapy?
Yeah.
Yes,
He does.
and he has another probe. But Jason is missing a ton of pieces right now. There's another
Another
land.
land. Was that a piece that he needed?
No, he has a Mox. He has a Mox Opal. He has no rituals outside of that, and he has Cabal Therapy.
It seems like some dire straits. He needs another Time Spiral. That's
I
what he
think
needs.
since he probed again, he's not going to take Notion Thief.
I think he needs to take Notion Thief.
All right, he is.
Like the needle
Yeah.
doesn't really matter too much.
You can needle Divining Top.
Yeah, you can. That is a legal play, but I don't know how much that actually matters.
Yeah.
Jason's can just draw a card. He could do the old.
But then he's gonna have to draw his top again.
No, well he could do no. He can spin the top and respond by activating it.
Oh yeah, if he has mana open.
He does because he has the not anymore.
Not anymore.
3 lands.
No, it's land top Thoughtseize.
Perfect.
It's
Wow.
about as bad.
This needle is going to be.
Delightful.
It's going to be a rain of salt, basically.
It's gonna every
Going
every
after
time.
Mox Opal.
No, because it's going after Sensei's Divining Top. Okay, it's
Okay.
going to
Well,
be.
going after Mox Opal would be poor.
It's going to be a
Does
rack.
not stop mana abilities.
No, it does not. How do you? These
I
are
don't
in your.
remember.
These are in the legacy deck that you handed to Connor. This should be extremely obvious to you.
It's going to be a rack and ruin,
It's going to be very.
but for one that's in your hand.
To be fair, the Pithing Needle is foreign.
Oh yeah. Boom.
Yeah, there
Fine.
you go.
Anyways, Pithing Needle.
Defended.
You can name lands, but it doesn't hit activate. It doesn't hit mana abilities. Revoker, you can't name lands, but it does hit mana abilities.
You can name
right.
Borborygmos.
Yes, but you can also name Borborygmos Enraged with both of them.
And either way, you'll be held to it.
Yes.
Whatever you name.
Whatever you name, whatever ogre legend you name, you will be held to. Cyclops?
I
I think he's an ogre.
think he's an ogre, yeah. Anyway.
I'm not going to look up Borborygmos.
Looks like this is going after Divining Top.
I have to imagine so.
And the top you could activate it, but
What's
it's
the
going to end
point?
up in your hand.
Yep. I think Jason should have done like flipped it and then
Waited.
responded by
Yeah.
activating it, or the other way
Or you
around.
could have waited until John's turn to see what would have happened.
Yeah, he didn't have to. He didn't have to do that main phase because I don't think there was a series of cards. There couldn't
That
be.
would have let him
well-
win this turn.
Well, it would have needed to be one card because you can only draw one extra
yeah,
card.
yeah. I don't think there was anyway.
No. All right, John, I'm gonna fetch here. Oh, I missed an attack. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Charlotte's got in.
Let's pull up Pithing Needle for the chat.
Pithing Needle, All-Star sideboard card. You might have seen it.
Original art.
If you
please.
don't know what this
No.
card does by now, you're going to want to find out as soon as possible before you go to a tournament.
Before you get scummed on camera.
Yeah.
Not scummed, but
Before you get piffed.
So again, if in case you're wondering, this can name Borborygmos.
It can
And it
name
will not do a lot.
It can name any legal magic card in the format that you're playing
Yes.
Ooh,
yes.
legally.
All right, yeah. And
It's
Jason
just-
shows a hand of land Thoughtseize.
Yeah, the Goyf is going to make it lethal this turn. And
Time
yeah,
Spiral did not.
Time Spiral bricked off pretty sensationally. It's pretty bad. But yeah, losing the top does turn off Mox Opal. You guys are right. That is true. And that would have been Jason was actually pretty hamstrung on mana that turn. But yeah, that's going to be it for that round. Jason losing in 3 games to John Loudis. Shardless Bug. So Shardless Bug will have won their first round.
We also saw Maverick win their first round earlier.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Connor died with Death and Taxes.
It's okay.
It's all right. Just win your
It's a
next one.
learning
For
experience.
my next 3.
Yeah. It is a
Um,
learning experience. It's not a very easy deck to play.
And I get to hear Phil talk crap about me on camera when I watch it again. So
Yeah, it's no problem.
Yeah.
I was very nice, I think.
I believe you for a second.
As nice to you as he is to me.
Yes.
So not, so
I wouldn't say that. I would say I was much nicer
Much
to
nicer.
him than I would be to you. I don't need to be nice to you. You just have to sit next to
Don't.
me and be a sounding board, whereas you
Sounding
sort of
board.
act as this this sort of like you act like this. You are this.
Nice. I'll take it.
This is. Have you met David Gleischer, my personal chimney imp?
The Chimney Imp.
I think this was rated as one of the worst Magic cards of all
One
time.
of the worst magic
right?
cards ever, which is pretty unfair.
Sensationally bad.
5
It's
mana,
very
1/2.
bad.
Well, what
But-
makes it so shockingly bad is that it was printed like much more recently than most of the truly bad cards. Like,
It was printed in the same set as, I don't know, something really good. What is that, Mirrodin? There's some really good cards in Mirrodin.
Arcbound Ravager?
Seed of the
Oh,
Synod,
wait, no.
for example.
Arco Ravager's Darksteel.
Yeah, you're
Dark
right.
Steel.
All the
A
modular
lot of the
stuff's in
really
Darksteel.
broken stuff was Darksteel, but still, there were
Broadcast.
good cards.
Bow and Splitter.
Yeah,
Volshock Morningstar. I'm just naming the best cards in the limited
Brood
format.
Star.
That's fine.
Yeah, the Brood Star.
I mean, this is one of them, so
Mirror Enforcers in that set though. But yeah, this is such a bad card.
It's not great.
Mark, you're kind of like the greatest Gargadon, I would say. What do you think Mark would be? I know. This is Mark.
Oh,
Mark is a goblin snowman.
Sure.
powerful card.
What do we want next? Did Dom win?
Dom did win.
What is he playing against this round? Do you know? Is he playing against one of the? Is he playing against like well, I want to watch Jund. I like
it.
Jund. Let's put Dom on.
Okay.
We'll see who he's playing against. Sorry. Okay. For those curious about some decks we have in the room, I've got a list. We've got Grixis Tezzeret, Infect, Jund, Death and Taxes, Storm, Esper Mentor, Doomsday, Maverick, Shardless Bug, and Lands. We have 2 Lands decks.
Captain QC, I am sorry that you're not going to get a chance to come to the store, but maybe next time. And Shroud in the chat, yes, this shop is in Chicago. MTG CardMarket is on the north side of the city, and they also vend at many GPs if you're going to one soon.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the next GP they'll be at.
They go to most modern legacy ones.
Yes, non-rotating
Yeah,
ones.
those are the ones they prioritize.
So the next modern GP is Detroit.
I believe so.
And I'm pretty sure they'll be there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's driving distance, so it's hard to turn something like that down.
Yeah.
Greg and I will also both be there,
Yeah.
battling and
No idea what we're going to play yet.
Look, we don't know if bannings are going to happen, all that sort of business, so we can't really decide on that. Speaking of modern, though, we are going to keep plugging this over and over again until everyone in the chat shows up.
Because Phil and I are commentating.
Yes, there is a 2K here at MTG Card Market in Modern on January 23rd. It is going to be streamed, so if you can't make it to the shop, you should watch it. Greg and I will be doing commentary.
A notable thing about this tournament is it's going to be the first Saturday with the new ban and restricted announcement.
Yep.
And the first one with the new set of cards legal as well in Modern.
Yep.
So we'll see if these new Eldrazi cards really come to bat.
Make a splash. Oh, yes. If you just moved to Chicago, yeah, we play Paper Legacy every Thursday here at MTG Card Market. We're over on the north side of the city in Lakeview, right off the Belmont train stop on Belmont. So yeah, come by, play some Legacy.
Yeah.
John. So John's already on camera, so you'll just say where he is.
Okay. Okay. So we're gonna watch John versus Dom. This is an interesting matchup that I feel like Jund is favored in.
Charlotte versus Jund?
Yes.
I would think so. If you're not, yeah.
It depends usually. So like
Jund seems like...
Seems close.
You both have like a lot of 2-for-1s, but in general, I find that Bloodbraid Elf sort of rules these
Yeah.
matchups.
It seems like that's the reason to play Jund over Shardless.
Yeah.
Since they're almost the same deck.
Yeah, you get like the one card that can be really problematic is maybe Jace. Like Jace is easily their best card, but like the Jund deck is Punishing Fire to keep it in check.
Yeah.
As well as again Bloodbraid Elf. Like Bloodbraid Elf is just
There is
such an
ancestral
amazing card.
visions too, though.
I think in general, it's like pre-board. It's going to be exceptionally tough. I think because Force of Will is a truly foul card.
That is true.
In against like the Hymn to Torek Bloodbraid Elf deck.
Yeah.
It really depends what John has available for him post-board. Like Jund is it's a Liliana deck. It's a Liliana Bloodbraid Elf deck, and it's I think a little bit better at fighting the Tarmogoyf battle.
Yeah.
I think Ancestral Visions has a hard time keeping up with Bloodbraid Elf and Dark Confidant. Dark Confidant is another big deal that I'd forgotten about. It's weird. It's like it's a Deathrite Goyf mirror. It's a Hymn mirror.
It's like Jund gets its Ancestral Visions already in play.
Yeah.
Starts
It's a
off with
3/2
them
that
in play.
attacks,
Yeah.
or a 2/1 that attacks. Like
Yeah.
it's
One
they
notable-
they take a little time on it.
One interaction, Punishing Fire on an active Deathrite Shaman. You can eat it, right? It's
No.
you
No,
don't
no.
get a chance.
So here's
If
what-
it takes if it's too late, if it's taken this.
So once the
Okay,
Punishing
damage.
Fire the Punishing Fire is on the stack.
Right.
Once it's resolved, state-based effects are checked immediately before
Okay, so
anyone
you
gets
don't have-
priority.
okay.
So the Deathrite will die.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way to do
Unless
it.
you flash in a parapet, which you can expect to happen.
Yep, I would have
Go
expected
ahead
that.
and bring that one
it's
up.
a
No,
joke.
no.
Not that parapet.
No. Wait
Different
for it.
parapet?
Wait for it. Parapet.
That's the one.
You may choose to play it as an instant, but you will have to bury it at end of turn, though.
Hey,
Ooh.
well worth it.
Yes, parapet.
Maybe I should sideboard that.
Well worth
Maybe you should sideboard. I told you to play vet.
It would
Well,
stop.
it's not a
it would stop some
creature.
zealous persecution.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
This is the answer to all your Dread of Night related problems
I
right
don't
here.
know, man.
It beats Dread of Night single-handedly.
You could just
just
play
dies.
Everything dies in your deck.
Crusade. No, what's that one card?
Yeah, Crusade does it.
There's a Crusade that
Will
costs
we
a colorless and a
flinch?
white, but it's not exactly the same.
Honor of the Pure.
No. Oh, yeah. Well, there's that. But there's another one from Ice Age that we should figure out at some point.
What? What does it do?
It does something like Crusade.
It does something like Crusade. So it pumps your creatures? Is that what you're
It
saying?
pumps your creatures, yeah.
Why not just play Order of Lake Bear?
No,
Light
that's
Bear?
that's a creature, though. That would just die to Zealous Persecution.
Would it? Is it a 2/2 or 2/1?
2/1.
Ooh, not good
All
enough.
those pump knights, 2/1s.
Answering Steak and Whiskey's question in the chat, we do still cast Modern on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
The past couple of weeks, with Christmas and New Year's, we were taking a bit of a hiatus, but we should be back to full steam ahead now.
Yeah, and VODs are generally published to YouTube within 24 hours. I know last week we had a ton of internet issues, so the VODs are kind of destroyed. But yesterday's Modern should be available. Tonight's Legacy will be available. All of our internet is looking good, so everything's good.
Yeah.
I think our players are about ready.
Let's get rid of our faces.
Hey, there we go. And John is staying in the same place because he's really nice. Dom is on the right, playing Yundo.
Gundo.
Both players currently 1-0. I'm not sure what Dominic beat last round, but we saw John defeat Doomsday in 3 games.
Jun does have a lot of very good matchups in Legacy and some truly heinous ones.
Yeah, I mean it's even more polarized than a deck like Maverick, I would say, as far as matchups. Like you have one form of interaction against combo decks.
And it's discard.
Yes. Oh my god, I made the deck name Jund.
Dom's new name is Jund.
Yeah, it's like when I called it Thursday Night Wednesdays, which I will still maintain is the best mistake I've ever made as far as
the best
naming a stream.
thing you've ever done.
Possibly, I'm not gonna argue against that. But yeah, I think that like Jund, for instance, I think Jund has a pretty poor Storm matchup. I think it is
I agree.
I think it generally has a poor
Sneak and Show.
Yeah, I think these are all tough matchups. Like again, your only way of interacting with most of these decks is with Hymn to Torak and Thoughtseize. Like a little bit with some of these graveyard-based decks, you have like Deathrite Shaman and Scavenging Ooze and a bunch of maybe like sideboard Surgicals or something like that.
Yeah, just discard and.
But yeah, it's very narrow in that regard. Like you have no stack-based interaction.
You got plenty of graveyard hate if you want it.
Oh yeah, I've seen decks with as many as like 2 Spell Bombs, 2 Surgicals sort of business, where you're really all in on it. Don't really want to play Relic in your deck. Looks like both players have mulliganed, and they've kept their 6-card hands. Dominic has Wasteland, Grove of the Burn Rolls, Verdant Catacombs,
Punishing Fire.
Punishing
or
Fire.
No, sorry, that's a
No, it's Punishing
Bloodbraid
Fire.
Elf.
Is it?
I think
I
it's a Bloodbraid Elf.
That'd be pretty great. And a Deathrite Shaman, right?
I can't tell what that last card is.
For Jund, the hands with Death
Looks
Ray
like it's a
just
Deathrite
so
Shaman
much
because he's about to.
Oh, yeah.
powerful.
The deck is the one thing that comes up with Jund a lot is that it's an extremely mana hungry deck. You have like a pretty high curve for a legacy deck.
Yeah.
Playing a bunch of 4-drops and 3-drops. And Dark Confidant, Deathrite Shaman is a card that really lets you get ahead in that regard. Alright, so here's the first test. Let's see if Dominic decides to decides to use a removal spell on the opposing Deathrite here. And again, going first in the Deathrite mirror is just
Seems good.
extremely critical. It comes up a lot in like Elves matchups in particular, although Elves tends to be the most aggressive Deathrite deck as far as activations of Deathrite go.
Especially when you get some of your untappers going.
Yeah, that's usually where things get a little bit bonkers. Deathrite, man, what an unreal card. Can't believe this was ever legal in Modern. It was just outstandingly good.
It survived
quite
one
good.
round of bannings.
That was probably the most ridiculous. I really can't believe that
What got banned?
They banned
Bloodbraid Elf. They banned Bloodbraid over this
right.
card just because it felt worse to play against Bloodbraid Elf.
They had the option.
Seems honest. It's to this day one of the more ridiculous things I've seen happen is Bloodbraid getting banned before Deathrite.
I really wonder if Dom just aggressively fires off the decay.
I really don't want to decay. I really want to save decay. I feel unless he has a
Yeah.
punishing fire, but
Yeah,
just
get a
decay.
choice this turn between decay and Bob. You know,
Oh, I definitely would have preferred to play Bob this
I
turn.
believe he has Bob, and I think that's that middle card.
Let's see, did he
Can't quite
attack
tell.
also? Yeah,
I think that's
I
the
don't-
new art of
yeah.
Dark Confidant.
And there is a Bloodbraid Elf. So this is a turn 3 Bloodbraid Elf next turn, which should be outstanding. But John will be able to him Dominic, which will help quite a bit. Yeah, Dom only on 3 cards.
Pretty good.
So given that he's playing Jund, I imagine that he either keeps the Bloodbraid Elf or it gets discarded and he just immediately draws another one.
I think he'd rather keep the Dark Confidant, right?
We'll see.
So yeah, he gets.
And he gets the Blood Braid Elf.
He has to draw a
You
land.
called
Though.
it.
Well, so you know what that means.
He's gonna draw land.
Of course. Ooh, he's
that?
hesitating. So it's not. If it was I mean, the thing is, he does have the possibility. If he draws Bloodbraid Elf, it's not the best to play it here because he has so many
No.
removal spells in his deck.
So it was actually
Yeah.
Liliana the Veil. It looks like,
Ooh.
which he can
Again.
cast and just not activate because he wants to keep the Bloodbraid. I imagine. in
Yeah,
hand.
I agree. I can also see just passing, but that is probably worse than just playing the
I
Bloodbraid.
think it's.
I mean, excuse me, worse than playing the
Because
Liliana?
if there's another him, then
Yeah, you just get.
Yeah, playing the
You get turbo
keeping the
punished.
Liliana out seems fine.
I mean, it's
not
it's gonna be
playing
a pretty big tell if he doesn't activate.
Yeah, and he's just gonna pass. John actually has his own Liliana here, which is a pretty strong punishment.
It is.
I imagine that's what's going to happen. He's going to play Liliana in minus. He also has Jace and Brainstorm. So this is going to be like, one of the a classic battle of whatchamacallit, Bloodbraid Elf versus Jace. The card that kept Jace from being a complete dominant force for a while. That's a fair assessment, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
Back in that standard format.
That whole deck was like nothing could compete with it, and Bloodbraid Elf was the best card in the deck.
It was a really obnoxious card to play against. I played in
And with.
Yes. Yes.
Just kidding. By obnoxious, I mean fun.
Yes, so much fun. Spin the wheel. I never played that deck. I played against it in my first ever standard tournament. I lost.
And you played another standard tournament after that.
I did.
So that really shows the level of punishment
that I'm willing
Mr.
to
Phil
accept.
Ooh, taking up.
I have to imagine Dominic's going to pitch his
I think
Liliana.
he's- Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
like it.
I would
Yeah.
definitely keep Bloodbraid Elf here
Hope to draw land and
and just
from
get
there.
get him.
I think we're seeing eating him to Turok.
Yeah.
Put John down to 17. And does Dom hit the land?
Crowd wants the land.
I think he drew Punishing Fire.
Punishing Fire is not bad.
No, Punishing Fire is fine here.
It's
I mean,
actually great.
well,
You're
Well,
going after
maybe not
Liliana
great.
and attacking it?
I don't think you play the Punishing Fire. I think you hold it to
Hold
discard.
it to discard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
I can also see attacking the Liliana just to keep a counter off of it. I feel like attacking it is better than doing 2 damage at this point.
Well. Yeah.
It's just gonna. Oh no, he drew another Liliana.
ooh.
I mean,
that wasn't a Punishing Fire.
no, it was not. Punishing Fire would have been much better. I think this is a Jace here though.
Seems good.
If John has it, oh yeah, I like this minus. This is a good minus. I'm actually surprised John didn't minus last turn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I am
me too.
All right, so Dom activating a Death Right in response. He's gonna do
Because
2 to.
it puts it out of bolt range if you plus it immediately. Although he could have attacked it and then bolted it.
I don't know how many bolts the deck generally plays.
Oh yeah.
At the, like
I guess with Punishing Fire, there's not a lot of room.
yeah, you don't have a ton of room for like things that do nothing against combo.
Are you fate sealing here?
Fate Sealing would be
Yeah,
tempting.
I think so.
You know that hasn't played a land.
Yeah, and you just
For
Yeah.
a few turns.
Fate Seal you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean Jace is your best card by far, and it's gonna go straight to the bottom. So John's kind of gonna have to sweat a little bit here. Dom possibly drawing a good card. Dom drew a land, which is step 1, but his Liliana's it's not gonna be great.
Yeah, I mean, facing down 2 planeswalkers is not exactly what Lily wants to do.
Yeah, and if he pluses it, he loses his Bloodbraid Elf, which is the
Yeah.
card that he's been trying so hard to resolve this whole game.
Yeah, and even then, I mean, if he plays the Liliana and doesn't tick up, it's just going to get eaten by John's Liliana.
Yeah, he's just gonna have to pitch. Oh, John only had 1 card, which I think is a pretty good motivation for plussing the Liliana here. It's probably more important to get John's last card.
Sure.
But John's just gonna start brainstorming though. I
Yeah,
have to think.
Absolutely.
All right, John draws. Usually the person with 2 planeswalkers is favored in these situations.
Especially when one is Jace the Mind Sculptor.
We'll see if John actually activates his Liliana, the Veil. He does. Discards Force of Will.
Sure.
Oh, he's-
Basically a blank card.
yeah, I think he's just gonna go full on Fate Seal at this point.
Ooh, aggressive.
I mean,
like
how
it.
many of Dominic's cards actually even matter here?
Yeah. It's a very good point.
Not a ton of them.
Yeah,
And not when you have a Liliana to handle
clear up
creature.
a Tarmogoyf or something.
Yeah, or you can give him any 4-drop because Dominic's up. Yeah, like something like him to Torak is a complete blank. Bloodbraid Elf is another blank. any thought seizes or any of that sort of business. I guess maybe the cards you
Punishing Fire would be.
Yeah, Punishing Fire I think is the scariest
problematic.
card.
I like Maelstrom Pulse.
Maelstrom.
Pretty scary.
Yep, anything that kills Jason. All right, so here we do see a brainstorm from John. He must have found a couple cards he wanted to cast. Ooh, he found Tarmogoyf. I think he found 2. If he found 2 creatures, that would be ideal.
Yeah, I kind of like brainstorming before. Like the first Faded Seal is fine, but I kind of like. I think I would have brainstormed last turn just to get more
Just to
board
try to get on
presence.
the board.
I agree.
Yeah. But he's doing it now.
Shardless
which I
Agent.
like.
Well, let's see what he for Goyf. Yeah, so this
Yeah.
is really really good.
It's going to be really hard to fight through.
And to death rate. Yeah, this seems about
Seems like a good turn.
So basically, Dominic needs to draw exactly Maelstrom Pulse, and then hope John doesn't draw an Abrupt Decay for it. I don't even know. Maelstrom Pulse might not even be a main deck card.
I don't think he can do anything at this point.
Yeah, Dominic. I think Dominic. Oh yeah, he's not going to even be able to ultimate this Liliana because he's just going to die to the attacks. This Goyf is also huge.
Yeah.
Artifact, creature, instant, land, sorcery. 5/6. Is there a Planeswalker? Oh no, there is a There's Liliana too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a 6/7.
Woof. 5/6.
No, I think they're wrong. Sorcery, instant, artifact, creature, land.
What's the artifact? Oh, sure.
Belful Strikes.
They probably missed the artifact.
No, or the Planeswalker. Yeah. Either way, I'm pretty sure Dom with no cards in hand facing down this million creature, million Planeswalker board. I think it's safe to concede. So this is where, as I said, I think we generally think that John is favored here, but that's how Shardless is going to win. Jace is their best card by far.
Yeah.
And the him being able to the first person to him was a big deal.
Yeah, that game was determined by him to Turok, right?
It really cascaded based on that decision to play. That was not an intentional pun, by
I'm
the way.
sure.
But
Yeah.
It really cascaded based on the decision to play Abrupt Decay instead of
Dark Confidant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if he'd played Dark Confidant, then John would have had to either him or kill the Dark Confidant and could not have done both.
Yeah.
And then Blood Raid Elf could have been played the next turn.
Yeah, and I think a big thing is that because Dominic had his own death right out, he was going to be able to prevent John from activating.
I think that's
and getting mana.
That's what puts it over the top.
Yeah, exactly.
If he didn't have that, then I think I would agree with killing the death rate.
Mm-hmm.
This matchup can't be that favored for John. Like, the decks are kind of similar. Like, if one
They're
deck's
pretty
favored,
similar.
it's probably like 55-45. Like,
agree.
it's not
Yeah.
like a very heavily weighted matchup.
No. I mean, it's 2 fair creature decks going at it. It
Yeah.
can't really be that much favor. It's really good. I think I have to imagine that Dominic was significantly favored in game 1, though.
Yeah.
Considering how many Force of Wills are in his deck.
It seems likely that John's deck improves more moving to sideboard than Dominic's deck will.
Yeah.
Because he gets to get rid of Force of Wills.
Yes. Yeah, Force of Will seems just like far and away the worst card in his deck.
I could also see players trimming on things like Thoughtseize.
Yeah, I mean, like, Thoughtseize also seems... Yeah, I agree. Thoughtseize seems pretty poor. Like, so often this matchup comes down to top decking.
Mm-hmm.
There's the one argument for Thoughtseize on Dominic's side is that you can always take the Jace. And that's
Sure.
like the card... Jace is the card that matters most. But everything is a 2-for-1.
Not if it's in play, though.
Exactly. And that's where you run into issues. And that's sort of how a lot of this matchup goes, is it's played largely on the board.
You want your Thoughtseize to be a rain of salt for Planeswalkers, but it can only be...
You want your Thoughtseize to be a rain of salt for Planeswalkers.
It just doesn't do that. It's not really remotely
do
what
get
the
to
card
bring in
does. That's the main
Pyroblast.
problem. Pyroblast would be half a rain of salt for a Planeswalker,
Yes.
so I would consider boarding that in.
Yeah.
I would definitely board in
Half-
Pyroblast.
If I were Dominic.
I would also consider Pyroblast half a Rain of Salt. Looks like he's cutting 2 Thoughtseize and 3 Punishing Fire.
Yeah.
For 2 Pyroblasts, Chains of Mephisticles.
Oh, yeah.
Double
And
choke.
choke. I
Yep.
like
That is some hateful
I
shit.
like all those cards that he's bringing in. I'm not sure I like taking out Punishing Fire.
I was
though.
going to say, I think Punishing Fire is actually quite good.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know what else he should be taking out. Maybe some of the discard.
yeah. I mean,
Well,
but like,
he did took
trimming
out
2,
He took
right?
out 2. Yeah.
I
don't know.
I wonder how many other Thoughtseizes he has in his deck. I think
Yeah.
these are both 3 to 4 Hymn to Torak decks, possibly 4. So I'm not sure how you'd want to compensate for that. I mean, like, Hymn seems like the only discard spell that matters.
Yeah. Seems like definitely the best one.
No, it was Chains, 2 Choke, and 2 What were the other 2 cards? 2 Pyroblasts. His sideboard.
Pyroblasts.
And he was boarding in. But yeah,
Naboro asks, is Jace the best card in Shardless Bug?
in this matchup, I think.
Yeah.
It's
probably.
the best card pre-board. Post-board, it might be different
more
because of
vulnerable.
Pyroblast.
It's just like a little more vulnerable, but it's
Yeah.
still extremely powerful.
That's true.
Here's the thing.
It's
It's
the kind of matchup where all the cards are sort of roughly equal. Not equal, but they all kind of
Yeah.
do the same kind
So
of
maybe
thing.
Hypnotorok's just the best card.
I mean, it could.
only
could be.
like turns 1 through 5.
Yeah.
It gets
But
pretty
just because
steeply
it's
worse.
such an efficient 2-for-1 when it works.
Yes.
Mhm.
And like usually drawing it when your opponent's hellbent is good. But Liliana, the fact that both decks have Liliana really complicates that.
Yeah.
Like you're often put into a position where you're drawing it where your opponent. I think more often than not, you're put in a position where you end up drawing it where you're both hellbent or something like
Sure.
that, or you need to answer the board.
With Jace,
Wyndham points out that post-board, John gets access to Pyroblast, which makes Jace a little bit worse.
I think it definitely makes Chase worse.
Yeah.
But it's still the onus is on Dominic to answer it.
there might be more incentive post-board that if you can at least cast the Jace and resolve it to just get a brainstorm out of it, because it's probably gonna,
It's so hard to just
Yeah.
brainstorm if your opponent has access to 4 mana.
yeah.
Like, just getting a Bloodbraid Elf has got to be completely miserable.
But Fate
great
Sealing and then
experience
getting
for everyone.
Pyroblasted the next turn is also pretty poor.
Ooh,
All right, this hand's looking.
is that a scavenging
I
use?
think.
Dominic's hand has no
Dominic-
fetch land, but it has...
Wait, isn't that middle card a fetch land?
Yeah, it looks
No.
like a Verdant
Oh.
Catacombs,
Next to the
doesn't it?
Wasteland?
Oh, that might be a fetch land, yeah. He definitely has Wasteland Grove.
If it has a fetch land, that hand's great.
If
Yes.
there's a black source, right?
Ooh, John is mulliganing. Well, what does he need the Black Source for? He has Grove.
Yeah, I believe that is.
It's a Verdant Catacombs, right?
No,
That's a great hand,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, his hand's amazing.
Double Death Right Liliana.
Oh, and he does have the fetch land,
Is
yeah.
that Ooze?
3 land.
Yeah, it was Ooze. It was his spells were Ooze, Double Deathrite, Liliana. So no hymns or anything like that, but Double Deathrite is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and
turn 2
access
Liliana.
to turn
All
2
your
Lily,
colors,
yeah.
a Wasteland if you want it, lots of mana.
If John goes like turn 1 Deathrite, he could just immediately edict it.
Is this John also on a mulligan here?
John's Mulligan is 6, yes. This might be a turn 1 suspend Ancestral Vision type
Do we
hand.
have the game counter?
No, we don't.
Hell
but,
no. Why would we do that?
but I can add it.
Okay. Alright, so we see turn 1 Verdant Catacombs potentially going for Bayou and
Yeah.
playing Deathrite Shaman. From John, he has Tropical Island, and I think that's a Deathrite of his own? Yes, in fact.
Yes.
Now, I mean, turn 2 Liliana seems pretty good here.
Is this an okay spot for this?
Sure.
Just checking.
Deathrite
Wait.
is up 1-0.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Deathrite is winning 1-0 right now.
I'm surprised Deathrite's only 1-0. I feel like its record should be a lot higher.
Turn 2
Well, I
Liliana,
got
Edict or
banned
Deathrite.
after the first
Boosh!
After 1 win?
Yeah.
It's above average.
One season.
Look, it's a good card, okay?
It is
It's okay. Got relatively little play in standard.
Can't change the color, apparently.
Apparently not, so I'm going to remove this.
Wait, why?
I'm going. Here's what I'm going to do. I have an idea. Just you guys keep talking.
Bear with us in the chat, guys. We're playing with the overlay a little bit. Currently, Dominic is kind of dominating the board. With
Oh.
turn 2.
With the puns.
Turn 2 Liliana here.
Bearscape with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what happens when Phil
Yeah.
gets distracted.
Liliana does get a 2-for-1 here because John is forced in the position of having to waste an Abrupt
man.
Decay, getting rid of the Lilia.
That's a value monger's dream.
Yeah.
Having to have
He undid
Liliana
John's
Abrupt
first
Decayed.
and second turn and got rid of 2 cards.
It seems pretty amazing.
Yeah.
if you've ever heard the phrase swimming upstream, it was probably in reference to this game.
Yeah. Any past
that's what John's
references
gonna have to do.
were in reference to this future occurrence.
Exactly.
Accurate. And there's a Wasteland from Dominic taking down John's land. Let's see if he's got another follow-up here. I feel like it's just going to be the Ooze.
Ooze seems great.
Yeah, remove
Amazing.
John's land. Oh, no. Second
Oh.
Death Right.
I
And
like
Anders?
I like playing 2 things.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh, even better.
Yeah, that's great.
Significantly
wonder-
better.
I mean, do you think John, if he has access to something like Toxic Deluge in his sideboard, would you bring it in?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think
fine.
I think those sort of cards, like stuff like
Because-
Dominic has access to like Maelstrom, not Maelstrom Pulse, Pernicious Deed,
Uh-huh.
like stuff like that. It's good to have those sort of answers.
Catch-up cards?
Especially
Yeah.
if your Bloodbraid is a Planeswalker, so it's not affected by Deluge.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
Or,
yeah. So,
Deed, for that matter.
so Dominic did leave in some thoughts here, as we see the one right there. He's going to take
Mm-hmm.
one from Bob.
I think he drew Choke.
Oh dear.
Seems good at the moment.
Oh dear.
Yeah, we
If
see
you've ever
Dominic
heard-
sit forward in his chair.
If you've ever heard a bad situation getting worse, it was probably in reference to this.
Choke coming down and effectively giving John the business.
Do you attack with Dark Confidant?
Yes.
I think I would.
Yes,
too.
you do.
That is a
I would brazenly.
demonstration of strength.
I would brazenly attack with the Star Confidant, but Dom has shown the fear.
Yeah, I think that would qualify as a great feat of strength if you attack
Ooh.
with Bob there.
I like Gibbous' plan. His opponent went turn 1 Dark Ritual Liliana uptick, and he discarded Phantasmagorian.
Seems good.
I feel like you're going to win that one.
Yes.
What do you look? I don't like that you're touching. What are you looking up?
Don't worry about it.
Is it nope, 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 nope.
No. Yeah.
Resistance? Cloud of Feather, Cloak of Feathers.
No, I thought there was a card called Feet of Strength. I was wrong.
Get out.
We should design it between rounds.
Let's just focus on the card at hand right here. John has to fetch Bayou here in order to cast spells multiple times.
If anyone noticed, Phil has not changed the white border version of Choke to the black border because he has no respect.
No, and frankly, if you're casting Choke, you're showing you should be using the white border because you should show that you have no respect for your opponent. Like
I can
you,
get on board with
you're
this.
rubbing it in their face.
White
That's-
border, Boil, Blood Moon, Choke.
Ooh, what did Dom reveal to his Bob?
I'm honestly surprised that you have not Eddie Songed your Dread of Nights.
Oh, come on now. No, they're actually
have to.
they're already white bordered.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a
there
sixth
it is.
edition Thread of Night.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah, I have them all in white bordered
How about
already.
Massacre? Is there a white border Massacre?
There is not.
All right.
Also, that card's bad.
Agreed.
Oh, jeez. Talk about the walls closing in.
Yeah.
If you ever heard that phrase before, I think we know where it was
Yep.
about.
It's originally from Johnny Quest, one of those like trap rooms where the spikes in the walls closing in. But this
they-
is also an appropriate
Well,
situation.
they got the idea from this.
Oh
match.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
This match really has inspired a lot of old sayings.
It has.
yeah. This match. Some would say this match is older than time, but and they would be right.
There's a lot of evidence for it. Let's put it that way.
So Dom has he revealed Tarmogoyf off of Dark Confidant this turn, so he's also playing Tarmogoyf here. Good lord.
Seems good.
Yeah, I would agree with that
Put
statement.
a
He just-
Bayou in his graveyard.
he put his Badlands,
Badlands,
his own
sorry.
Badlands from play into exile.
Why not?
Raise. He cast Raise.
He cast half a Rain of Salt on his own land.
Tarmogoyf in play. It is only a 3/4 at the moment, but Dom has everything
That's
going
enough.
on here.
He's got it all. He's got the boat.
By the way,
got the house.
Choke acted as Rain of Salt.
It did.
There you go.
I
So far.
couldn't be happier. Yeah, so far, with potential for more Rain of Salt.
Yeah,
Yes.
you could add more Stone Rains
Yeah,
to the mix.
it's a Stone Rain with suspend N, where N is the number of islands in John's
There's
deck.
a lot of rain.
Sounds good.
We'll see what Dom.
You'd think islands would be profiting from this rain, but
No.
they're not.
No, because it's salty. All right, Dominic taking one. And he has the fun interaction of Sylvan Library plus Dark Confidant, where you just determine how much damage you're taking every turn.
Oof.
I've only ever assembled this combo in a cube draft, but it was great.
So the interaction here is you bob first, and then you library. But
Well-
you're setting up your next turn.
Yes, yeah. Like, there's going to be only one turn where you don't know how much damage you're taking,
Right.
and then every turn for the rest of the game, you know how much.
Seems good.
Unless you want to do something crazy like pay 8 life, which I do not think we will see Dominic do. He still has a Scavenging Ooze, but at this point, it's just worse than Tarmogoyf. And there's a Liliana.
Would you describe Dom as playing with his food right now?
I mean, John can concede at any point.
True that.
There's a fetch.
Why concede when you could fetch a land and see what happens?
I hope it's not an island.
Yeah, I also hope it's not an island. Yeah, this board state is not bad if you're Dominic right now. John fetching up a Bayou here. Let's see what he decides to do. I mean, is he going to cast a Decay in response? Oh, so here's the problem. Dominic can just respond and eat this land, which I think he's very motivated to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well.
I mean, he's on the mana denial plan already. You might as well not let it... John has sort of indicated that he wants to cast a 2-drop. So this is for those unaware, Deathrite Shaman's activated ability, where it exiles lands, uses the stack. It's not a mana ability, so you can always respond to it. This is why the Deathrite Mirror is so strange. I think John was going to cast an Abrupt Decay that turn, but instead he gets nothing.
This game is looking like quite the reverse of last. Just a full board for Dom, as opposed to last game where John really put it to Dom with Jace and Liliana together.
Yeah. And here we see an attack for 5. Is that right? I actually think it's... Yeah, I don't know.
Tarmogoyf didn't grow.
Okay. John going to 12 here. Valiantly playing this one out. He just wants to see the 3 cards from Ancestral Visions. So what I assume that means is that Dominic's going to draw Pyroblast for it. In order to, efficiently deny him of every possible resource. Oh, John also took 2 from the activation of Deathrite Shaman. There's a fetch from John, which does grow the Goyf. We'll see if John has anything else to play here. He does have a second Bayou, which is good. I mean, he has 2 lands that don't get choked. I don't think this Goyf is going to do enough. Something about late parties, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all know where that phrase came from.
Yes.
The next game in this match.
Exactly. Dominic taking 0 from that Dark Confidant there, revealing Bloodstained Mire. Looks like he neglected to Sylvan Library. I think he might have missed it.
It's all gravy at this point.
Yeah, it really
He
doesn't
just
matter
needs
very much.
any removal spell and the game ends this turn.
I don't think he has one.
Yeah, it doesn't... I think we'd see Dom moving a lot faster if he did.
Yeah, this is a Planeswalker battle, which is to say Dominic has the Planeswalker and he is battling John. He has 3 Planeswalkers in play, actually. I mean, these Deathrites are going to wrap up the game on their own.
Yep.
One thing Dominic could do here is he could attack with both of his creatures. If John decides to block the Goyf, then he can eat the Abrupt Decay, which I believe is the only instant, and trade Goyfs effectively.
Yeah, shrinking the toughness after the damage has been dealt.
Similarly, the Scavenging Ooze, this has a similar effect on the Goyf battle. I mean, Dominic is incentivized to trade given how low on resources John is. So I think attacking here would be profitable. He can also cast his Thoughtseize. He's a 3rd Deathrite in his hand. He has a wealth of options. A million good things to do with his mana.
Playing Scavenging Ooze, does that let Dom attack with Dark Confidant safely as well? Because then he could potentially eat multiple cards and shrink the Goyf down.
He can eat land, creature... no, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
But the attack is probably still fine because it means he gets in 4 damage with his Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
So you'd want to attack first if you're going to discard.
All right, that Goyf I think is actually a 5/6 right now.
Yeah.
Land, Planeswalker, sorcery, instant creature.
It kind of seems like this
Yep. It's 5/6.
activating Liliana here suggests to me that Dom's just not going to
Yeah,
attack.
I think he's not
Yeah,
going to
I think
attack,
he's just going to pass.
which is fine.
Yeah, the game is, I think, sufficiently locked up. John will draw 3 cards
He's
this
going
turn.
to draw 3, but
Or 4, really, but
hard to imagine being enough.
finding the right number
Part
of
1 is
cards.
Toxic Deluge.
Yeah, he needs land, deluge, I think. And even then, that's not quite good enough.
Yeah, I mean...
He drew Spellbomb, Brainstorm, 2 other cards.
Might be time to pack it in.
Tarmogoyf was one of them. Did he draw 5 cards? I don't think so.
Kind of
It kind of looks like he did.
looks like it, but...
I don't know.
That can't be.
Yeah, I'm not going to speculate.
Well, he does... He's played a card he has 4 in his hand, so... I don't know.
Unless he had 0 cards when the turn
I
started.
thought
right?
he had 0. I could be wrong.
He might have had 1 card off to the side.
It's very possible. All right, let's see if Dom. Nope, Dom does not library this turn. Dom quickly librarying before he goes to his main phase. He finds any number. He needs one removal spell here to kill John. I think Dom also did not activate Death Right on his instant.
Yeah.
Little fast and loose.
Yeah.
Going on. I think he knows how far ahead he is. He's going a little faster than he needs to. All right, exiling.
Also, wait, is this in the middle of the library activation?
No.
He put them back? Okay.
No, he's activating a land and then exiling a creature with Scavenging Ooze, gaining a life. And that's going to shrink the Goyf by 1. No more creature on the yard. He has Thoughtseize in his hand. He has Liliana in play as a removal spell. He could just eat everything with the ooze. All right, exile land that shrinks Goyf.
Cashing in Lily seems fine here.
I agree.
Right.
I think you eat the instant and then minus Liliana.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
That's how you make the Tarmogoyfs as small as possible.
Yeah. All right, so he's making green mana off Deathrite, and he's going to activate Ooze. I'm not quite sure what his line is here. I think he wants to just shrink the Goyf so he can attack in with this, make the Ooze king, basically.
Yeah.
Let's see what he's... Oh, okay, he's eating Abrupt Decay.
So Goyfs are 2/3s
Yes.
currently.
Just Sorcery and Planeswalker in the graveyard. Eats Liliana.
Now they are squires.
Noble Squires.
There's
There's no 1/2.
There's one 1/2 on it.
Yeah, they're Squires. It's okay.
If there's that little, we can just tell from looking at the graveyard.
The graveyards are tiny.
Yeah.
It's much easier that way. It's rare you see stocked graveyards in a 1/2 Goyf.
I think that means that the creator of that Tarmogoyf dice valued 6/7 over 1/2.
7/8. I
7/8.
think.
Oh
Yep.
God.
So, what's going on here? Just some...
All right, so I'm not quite sure what... I think he's getting another green source here. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, this means that it's okay for him to fetch because the Goyf growing doesn't matter. He can just eat the Bloodstained Mire with his Ooze whenever he wants. I think this is going to end in an attack with Ooze.
Maybe.
So, like, if he minuses Liliana, the Goyf grows by 2.
Yeah.
And then he can eat the creature, make his Ooze a 4/4 versus a 3/3 Goyf. I think I'd be interested in doing that. Thoughtseize. I mean, Thoughtseize is sorcery. Doesn't actually grow the Goyf.
But what he wants to take might... Yeah, so there are 4...
Hey, look at that Toxic Deluge.
There are 4 cards there.
I think John might have drawn an extra card.
It seems possible.
I don't think it was intentional, but
Or unless he didn't have it and we just... Or he did have it before
Yeah.
and we just didn't see it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, so Liliana going to go up here after Dominic plays another Goyf. I have to think that Dominic could have won this game already.
Yeah. It seems like he's taken some pretty defensive.
Yeah, he's playing very, very, very defensively here. Like, he has an overwhelming advantage, so it's not going to harm him too much in the long run, but I'm always of the fan of not giving my opponent as few turns as possible.
Yeah, I mean, there were ways he gets punished, like if that deluge does actually get fired off, you know?
Yeah. Let's see if he drew Decay for Liliana and a pass. All right. Let's see what we flip the Bob. It's Bloodbraid Elf.
Okay.
It's getting a little precarious for Dominic.
He's got to be a little more careful with the Sylvan Library. Did he not Sylvan
I
Library
don't
this
think
turn?
he library.
Oof. Dominic, gotta remember the
He could
library.
still just pass and probably win with Death Rights.
I think so too,
But-
but I think he wants to cast Bloodbraid Elf because it's more fun.
It certainly
Seems
is.
like-
I mean, I kind of like just shoving with all the creatures. I think, he realized he missed
I
it.
would use the Grove. Not a big deal, but
Ooh,
would've
that's
had that.
that's a great hit.
sure. Why not?
Does he have a removal? Does he have a Liliana or something to kill that last Goyf? Not sure what he drew for turn here. I think it's pretty safe to attack with the Tarmogoyfs and the Ooze.
If he just
Seems
sends
fine.
with Well, he could just attack with everything, and John would be dead.
right? Like
There's that.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I think attack
Doesn't
would
matter how big the Tarmogoyf
turn
is.
every creature sideways. All of them. Every single one. I'm willing Dominic
As long
to do
as
it.
that life total is correct, which I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he knows John's whole hand.
He doesn't even have to attack with everything. He could just attack with the top row and leave the death rates back.
Yes. Attack. We'll see what Dominic wants to do here. I would be a little surprised at a pass. I think that would be the most surprising action.
Are they getting a ruling on something, or
I
what's going
Kind of
on?
what it seems like.
don't know. Just the
Oh,
glyphs. All right. John takes 5.
That'll also work.
I mean,
And this just kills him too.
yeah.
Right?
I mean, it'll be 2
Nope.
turns.
Have not activated Death Right.
Could have traded glyphs there. I think. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if there's enough. I think there's actually too many instance or creature types available. John draws an island, which he can only use once. Nihil Spellbomb coming in. Not going to do
Spell
it.
be easy.
I think it's actually just going to grow the glyph if he activates it. I think it'll be the same size because it gets rid of Planeswalker, but it adds artifact.
In response, yeah, eat a land out of your own graveyard. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And eat a spell.
Probably eat the Abrupt Decay.
I mean,
or Thought
I think
Seeds.
it doesn't matter what
Yeah.
you eat. I think you definitely eat a sorcery. What there's a lot of.
Yeah.
Untap. I mean, as long as you just don't.
Sure, why they're still playing.
Okay, yeah. I think John has conceded. He's like, I'm going to attack with all my creatures. I won't miss my triggers. All right. It took a little dancing around.
Yeah, that game it took about 7 or 8 minutes more than it maybe needed to, and
I think so.
if the next one grinds on for a similar amount of time,
Which is not unlikely at all,
No.
yeah,
considering this matchup.
this could lead to a draw.
Which would be great for everyone.
Punishment.
If you mean reward, then yes.
I do mean reward. Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
I know Greg often gets confused.
Yes.
He's referring to punishments and rewards.
Yes,
Yeah.
he does. I don't know what to do with him.
I'm a fan of both.
Yeah, makes it hard to tell them apart.
But game 3 here, everything Dominic had. I mean, he drew one of his sideboard cards, which was extremely good.
He was ahead from the very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, his
Started out
opening
ahead
was
and
insane.
remained ahead.
I wonder how much.
Especially in terms of like his mana curve and everything.
Yeah, and John also going turn 1 Death Right, turn 2 Liliana, kill your Death Right is really hard to come
Pretty
back from.
backbreaking.
The double Rain of Salt also functionally impossible to beat.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Single Rain of
single
Salt.
Rain of Salt. Double Stone. Rain.
Yes, exactly. But Choke doing a lot of work there. Choke was excellent.
I realized looking at the art on Choke this round that it's basically what's happening is the islands are being overgrown by forests, which are sort of choking the life out of them.
Yeah, because
or
it's
the
Choke,
water out of them.
You see, Choke is a green card.
Yes.
And green cards are cast off forests.
Yes.
Forests dominating the islands there.
They sort of soak up all the water and
Yes.
turn it into trees.
They're very thirsty.
They're thirsty. Well, not animals. I was going to say animals, but they're actually plants.
Yes. There you go.
Plants and animals.
Basic biology here
Ooh,
on
does
the
Dominic have
stream.
lands? Because he's got several haymakers in his hand. He has both Chains of Mephistopheles. Okay, let's see. One land.
One land,
death, right?
He's
And
keeping.
He's keeping.
I love it.
I do keep. Man, on the draw, it's so rough because it's so likely that this Death
It's
Right's going to
risky.
die.
Drew Tarmogoyf.
That
Not
is
great.
not a land. Like, imagine if John just goes, like, Decay Wasteland you.
Or if he
That would be the
goes-
worst possible thing that could happen. That's for sure.
I wanted to just make it the most punishment. I mean, here's the thing, like, it's just... Well, he does have Decay.
He has Decay, yeah.
I don't think John has a second land either.
He has Brainstorm, though.
I think.
Brainstorm's good, I heard.
It's
Yeah.
risky.
Here, it's certainly risky.
If he brainstorms and bricks on land, then he both brainstorm locks himself and doesn't destroy the opposing Death Right.
Which seems incredibly greedy. I
drew a
believe he drew a
land.
land, so I think I would brainstorm. But, well, I guess he is all gas right now. He has no bricks.
Yeah.
But this Decay is
Oh.
certainly good.
All right.
Mhm.
Does
Now-
he have the land?
Dominic
It's
needs
a tar
to
pit.
tar pit. Okay,
There you
that
go.
makes sense. Ooh, right off the top. So what do you play here? Chains?
Ugh.
Well, knowing about those 2 brainstorms.
Well, it's hard to turn it down.
That's what David would do.
But he's going to start with the Dark Confidant. I think this is a fair thing to start with. I mean, either way, John has a Decay. He has Decay and Pulse, which are both universal answers to anything that Dominic might play. But I think Dark Confidant has the most advantage going along in the game.
Mm-hmm.
John drawing finds a basic Swamp, I believe. It's one of the new ones from Battle for Zendikar, which I can never tell which basic type it is.
They're all very dark and similar looking.
Ideally suited to fight against choke.
Exactly.
Swamps cannot be choked.
Neither
Nor
can Creeping
Tar
Tar
Pit.
Pit.
Tar Pit's
That's a
pretty
blue
great.
source that can't be choked.
That's true.
Pretty important, actually, because Dominic has choke in his hand.
And probably is getting played next turn.
He also has Wasteland. I think that the Decay is... I mean, Decay plus Wasteland seems like a pretty great line for John here. All right, Brainstorm getting resolved.
Yes.
Wait, no,
Did he
don't
put
cut his
2
deck. Dominic went to cut his deck and then realized that he did not shuffle. Dominic thought that John cast searched his library.
Here.
All right, so there's a Decay, taking down the Dark Confidant.
Confidant has been...
What?
The land got...
Little bit of confusion.
Wild.
Players look like they need to communicate a little bit better what's going on.
You might see
Nah.
Not to put passing judgment.
Wait,
John-
that on the red source.
Over
Okay.
the black source. Ooh, draws the land off the top. I think I would rather go for the green source in that spot.
Yeah,
but
me too.
there's another Dark Confidant, which
Right.
wouldn't have stopped him from casting that either way.
Yeah.
We'll see if John decides to pulse this. There's another Brainstorm he had left on top.
You gotta snap it off, right? On the
Yeah,
old
Bob's
DK.
too good.
It's pretty tempting.
I wouldn't want that to stay in play.
Neither
And
would I. And he gets another Brainstorm here, and he actually gets to shuffle off of it.
Is that a chains? Yes. The chains.
Dominic,
Just waiting.
not pleased that he has this chains in his hand and has let his opponent
After
resolve
2
two
Brainstorms.
Brainstorms.
It's tough to answer a 1-mana card with a 2-mana card.
It is. Specifically two 1-mana
Sort of at
cards.
an inherent mana disadvantage,
Yeah.
if you will.
I mean, he's going for the more powerful card for him. The card that'll dig him more out of his hole. So, I don't disagree with this.
No,
play.
I don't disagree with it either.
But it does make him... it's kind of sad.
It's very sad, you know?
Legacy is a format of digging and holes.
Yes.
And tragedy.
It's a combination of all three.
Sadness.
Pain.
Definitely some pain.
John fetching here after the Brainstorm, getting the basic forest.
Basic forest.
Really does not want to lose to choke this
Also
game.
unchokeable, since it's basically what's happening.
It's
Yeah.
the choker,
with it's
not
the
the
choker.
chokey.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Look how much water that tree's absorbed in its lifetime.
Ton of water.
You can't even tell.
Nope.
Just have to assume it's a lot.
And there's the Polestar Confidant. Get out of here. John has only cast removal spells this game, so there's something to be said about that. He's sort of running out of cards. There's a Goyf.
Well, there's a good.
Goyf is a pretty big deal here.
When your opponent's just played 3 removal spells, you might as well try playing a Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, it's
See what
pretty big.
happens. Oh, another brainstorm.
No, Brainstorm. Yeah, third Brainstorm and also
Oh.
Ancestral Visions.
Yeah, he has Ancestral in hand.
He's gonna love when that gets cast
4/5 Goyf
with
in
his
play.
chain still in hand.
Oh god, he's gonna lose his mind.
Since Brainstorm, Ancestral
And
Visions.
there it is.
Oh yeah, Dominic is.
Let's love it. Great. Yeah,
Oh
no.
god, the clenching of the fist was just
He
fantastic.
knew what we were thinking.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Because he
Is
was thinking the same thing.
that 3 Goyfs?
At least 2.
3. Yes, Dominic.
We got
3
it.
Just keeping
Brainstorms.
track of
We're
them.
with you.
I think let's pull up Chains of Mephistopheles, which is not useful because reading the text on it is not. I would say it's actually detrimental to understanding what the card does.
It has cool art, though.
It does have cool art. It is really good old school art. Heather Hudson, who don't recognize the artist at all.
Good job, Heather.
Thanks, Greg. Chains of Mephistopheles. So what it does is, if a player would,
Is this about? There we go.
Ooh, dear
No,
God.
that's-
I will target myself.
If that chains needed to be any worse, and he can't resist showing.
Dominic angrily
Because of how
flinging
bad
his
it's been.
chains across the table, just so
I
sad.
think he might have just eaten it. Oh, no, he didn't.
I mean, he wouldn't because it's a $400 Magic card.
Okay.
If it was 40 cents, we would probably see it ripped up into little.
I would
pieces
have
right
personally, I would have ripped it up if it was 40 cents.
Yeah.
If it was less than $10, I would have ripped it up. maybe 20.
Uh,
It's worth it.
That's great.
But yeah, Dominic is losing. I'd say effectively losing his mind. Do you think he could cast Choke here, but it's just not even that good. Like, there's a million lands in the graveyard. There's
a forest and a creeping
forest
tar
and a tar
pit and a
pit,
death rate.
Yeah, like that's the lands for the death rate is what I mean.
It's only Stone Rain.
Yeah, and you really need it to be Rain of Salt.
No Rain of Salt.
In order to get away with this.
Go away with.
Let's bring up Rain of Salt real quick.
No, I don't think we should do that. Here's what Rain of Salt is. It's 2 Stone Rains stapled together.
Including
We did
the
display
mana
it
cost.
Yes, we actually did display it earlier, which is a ridiculous thing that I agree to. All right, right now we got a quick Tarmogoyf check. It's got to be at least a 5/6 at this point. Yeah. 5 spot coming at you. Dominic is still in this game, which is kind of ridiculous.
I wonder if he's going to deploy the chains now.
Nope, second Goyf.
Another
All right.
Tarmogoyf. Yeah, at this point, I'd just save that chains for discarding to Liliana or
might,
whatever.
Might see a double
Or him
replicate
attack.
turn.
The other
wow.
2, he has at least 1.
I
That
think
would
he has
be-
2.
That's all 4.
That would be pretty.
Oh, there's also a Toxic Deluge.
Oh, Deluge has got to be the play here.
I mean,
2
you're
getting.
taking a lot of damage, but I agree.
I don't think you can get away with getting rid of 2 Goyfs. For what it's worth, if he does Deluge, the choke will start to be good, especially if Dominic draws a land, because he can go choke
wasteland.
and waste the tar pit.
Yeah,
And then he might just be favored.
that would be a delight.
It would be a delight. Choke is an absolute beating.
And a delight.
It's true. It's true that he didn't bolt the death rate. I'm not sure if he should have. Like killing the
It seems like you should. It's just a much better card than
more
the
valuable.
than the 2/2.
than the 2/2.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand wanting to get in some damage, and he feels like John's gotten so much card advantage off those brainstorms and ancestral visions that he just wants to go for the win as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But
Ooh, I think Dominic drew Sylvan Library, which probably won't die, given that 4 Abrupt Decays have been used.
There's still Maelstrom
Probably.
Pulse.
probably, yeah.
There's a
There
Sylvan
it
Library.
is.
No, he's used one already.
Oh.
So unless he has a second Maelstrom Pulse or a 5th Abrupt Decay.
Fifth Abrupt Decay might be Dominic's best shot of winning this game.
I think he drew I think he drew second Deluge. John does have his own Goyfs, though, that he can start playing. Dominic's down 2 Goyfs. But Dominic has not cast any Decays yet. Dominic's got all 4 of his Decays left.
Yeah.
Let's see what he wants to do. I think John is thinking... Oh, we're doing another Goyf check. Instant, creature, land, sorcery,
Artifact, you
artifact.
5, 6.
That's it. 5. And a second death rate. Oof. Pyroblast, a little late to the party. There's a Decay. The Decay, I have to imagine, is going to go in his hand. Is it a Bloodbraid Elf as well?
say? Yeah.
Bloodbraid uncastable. You can take 4. I don't know if you could take 8. The death rights after a certain point are just going to take over this game. Dominic also displaying the delightful non-bow of Chains and Sylvan Library. Although I just don't even think he's ever going to cast Chains this game.
Probably not.
It's much more important for him to dig himself out of this hole than it is to stop John from doing anything when John has cast 3 Brainstorms already. Like the only card that Chains is really going to be good against anymore are the Future Visions, but...
He's cast one of those already, too.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Chains is a mulligan at this point.
I figure he's just going to take the Decay and get rid of the Goyf.
Yeah.
He's got Chains, Decay, and a 3rd card in hand. Choke.
It's a choke, right?
And Choke is getting worse by the second. By the turn, maybe.
Ooh, are they in... I think they're in turns. I think our clock is 3 minutes off. They just put a
die?
1 die, yeah. This
Oh,
might
wow.
be turn 1.
Oh, boy. Well, that's pretty bad for Dominic. Or good for Dominic?
No, I think it's good for...
So-
I mean,
yeah,
if he
he's
wants to
probably
get the
gonna
draw,
lose.
yeah. I mean, he's not favored right now.
They are in turns.
Okay. So this is turn 1. Our clock is terrible. I'm terrible is what
we
it
can
comes
just
down
pull the clock off, actually.
to. Turn 1 going on here. Wish we had the nice graphic like Star City. The
Yeah.
like turns thing. We don't. We're poor.
We'll make it. We won't.
Well, that was just letting him know what's going on already.
Oh, and he can't discard the Chains fast enough.
He's so thrilled to discard this Chains of Mephistopheles.
Sounds good. Can't eat it with Death Rate.
I believe that was a hymn, is that next card.
Awesome.
Not too useful right now.
No, I mean, he's probably going to take it.
You can get 1 card. Or he could
No,
cast Choke.
I think John is 2.
Is he?
Yeah. Choke just does nothing right now. Specifically because there are 2 non-chokeable black sources.
I mean, nothing really does anything. If you want to think about it that way. I've just Phil has just exploded into a puddle.
Sorry, the sheer weight of that philosophical statement was overwhelming.
He glimpsed the unthinkable.
Glimpsed
for a second.
And yeah, and I don't know if anyone else has tried to think the unthinkable, but glimpsing it is even worse.
Glimpsing it is enough.
There's an activation of Deathrite. Nope.
41.
Nope, had those numbers wrong.
Going to draw.
See if John draws a spell he can cast, or if he's just going to discard to Liliana.
I don't think John's going to be able to kill Dominic in time.
I think it's going to be a draw, unless Dom concedes.
Pluses Liliana. Dominic discards a choke, which does nothing.
It's a Stone Rain.
We see land.
Land
Bloodbraid. I think he's going to take 4. He did find... Yep.
Was it land, Bloodbraid, and what else?
Nope. He's going to 6?
This is giving
Probably a way of...
What?
John a way to win.
What? Now can John win?
And maybe Dom was going to concede anyway.
I mean, I think he basically just has.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, John has 5 possible Deathrite activations, and he's got a hugely stocked graveyards.
Yeah. I mean, Dom's basically just put himself dead on board.
No one should... It's impossible to say that anyone should concede.
Well, that's quite possible.
Sorry. It's impossible to believe that.
Sure.
I don't believe...
Do you believe that?
Well, someone can believe it.
Sure. I'm saying it's fool... Okay, so let me backtrack. It's foolhardy to believe that.
Okay.
Would you agree with that statement?
Not really. No, actually, I wouldn't.
I wonder if Dominic hits some Maelstrom pulls here.
That'd be funny.
I would say then that the game is like almost even, except for the fact that Dom's at 1. Thoughtseize. Does he cast it? Does he cast it? No, he's not going to cast it.
That one's probably the worst possible hit.
I kind of think Dominic should have boarded out his Thoughtseizes instead of the Punishing Fires. I think it's... Yeah. I mean, we look at this
Look
board.
at the board.
Yeah. Punishing Fire would have been 1,000 times better there. I mean, this is it's easy to pull one situation and say that, but...
All right, yeah.
Yep.
That's Dom's
Dominic,
concession.
and I think that's a fair thing for him to do here. John definitely won that game. If it were to come to its natural conclusion.
I mean, even so, like, that was going to be turn 5 on John's side, wasn't it?
Yeah, no. If he didn't, I mean, I don't know if Dominic was playing for the draw. I don't expect he would have taken 8 off of his Sylvan Library.
Not.
Yeah, especially since he had a card in his hand left.
Yes.
At the end of that.
That Pyroblast. It was the Pyroblast
Yeah.
that meant nothing. He could have just left it on top of his deck. But yeah, Shardless Bug, 2-0. Jun falling to 1-1 tonight.
Interesting.
I'm gonna update my sheet accordingly. Are you 1-1?
I have one.
Cool. Death and Texas is 1-1. What did you beat?
Doomsday.
Doomsday, which is 0-2 to
Thalia?
No, he punted game 1, and then he's just gonna get anything going game 2.
Okay, so yeah, just to give a rundown of the decks we have tonight, we have Grixis Tezzeret, Infect, Jund, Death and Taxes, Storm, Esper Mentor, Doomsday, Maverick, Lands, 4-color lands, and Shardless Bug.
Doomsday and Infect have left the building.
Doomsday and Infect have left the building. No longer do we have Doomsday and Infect.
R.I.P. Jason.
How's Grixis Tezzeret doing?
Cal is undefeated.
He's undefeated?
Can we put him on?
If he's not playing, as long as he's not playing John.
He is playing John.
He is playing John? Okay. Do you know who,
The other undefeated, Zini.
Zinni? Oh, who's he playing?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
No,
Yeah, put him on.
Which is all
Yeah, exactly. We've seen John twice already.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do that.
I would like to see Houtman's Grixis Tezzeret if possible. Maybe round 4. We'll see what happens.
It's a fun deck. I wonder, is he playing Deck Faden?
I imagine.
I think I saw one in there before the tournament started.
Greatest thief in the multiverse.
Steals everything. He steals everything.
He does not steal everything.
Every artifact
There we go.
that you can think of.
Deck Faden is a nice card. It's not as insane as it is in Vintage.
It's great in Cube.
Yes. It's a 3-mana Planeswalker. That isn't bad.
And it's blue.
It gains so much loyalty so fast.
Do you think it's better... What's the best 3-mana Planeswalker in Cube?
Liliana the Veil.
Probably
No.
Jack Faden.
I think Deck Faden's better.
Yeah? Alright.
Not by
I
much.
mean, it's one of those two.
What about...
What about Nissa?
The new one?
Yes.
I don't know what it does.
No,
It's a
no.
creature, actually.
No, the one for,
refuse
no, the
to know.
creature. The creature Nissa.
Oh, that's not a planeswalker.
It
It's a
sort of
creature.
is. Eventually, all you need is
Board
7
of
lands.
Adventure.
It's Borderland Ranger.
I still think Deck Faden's better.
I agree. Back Faden is usually better than Borderland Ranger.
What's the red-green one?
Domi Raid?
Yeah.
I think Domi Raid is actually very bad.
Unplayable.
Yeah.
Really?
I think it's terrible. Considering so it's really hard to play a deck of all creatures in a cube because
You don't want to.
it's bad. Yeah, it's just bad. Like don't. I should say yeah. Like if you do that, then
could.
your deck is not good.
You certainly could.
I'm thoroughly.
The upside for it is not even that high either.
Yeah, you just like draw a card.
Sometimes
you draw a card,
card.
probably still
40
less than 50% of the
Yeah,
time.
40%.
Yeah.
45.
Like is Narset good in cube? Narset has a much higher ceiling in cube.
Yeah, I suppose.
I think
Deck Faden is the greatest.
even the multiverse.
In the multiverse. Duretti's also great.
Duretti's format. Duretti's also a very, very good card. Yeah, Duretti's a card that I've not added to my cube. Duretti's really good. We'll stop talking about cube. Oh, Ashiok is good. Do you think Ashiok is good in cube?
It can be.
I think Ashiok is like really, actually really
I
good.
hate it. Yeah, I hate Ashiok.
Because it's good?
I think it can be alright, but I think it can also just be horrendous.
I actually think it's mostly really good because a Millstone is so good in a 40-card format.
Yeah.
It might kind of depend on the cube. If it's powered, I imagine that it gets a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, because people are playing just less creatures at that
I
point.
only
exactly.
play it in the powered cube.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
in
quite a
a
bit. I
non-powered
think it's quite a bit
cube,
worse in a
better.
power cube, but
Yeah.
in a like a
could see that.
like a legacy type cube, it seems extremely annoying.
Yeah.
To the point of not being overpowered, but extraordinarily obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
I know for one, a person who has a legacy cube that had to cut it because it was so annoying to play against. Actually, the best cheap planeswalker in cube is Jace Vryn's Prodigy.
Again,
Change my mind.
I don't count things like that.
Well, it's better. It's a Merfolk looter. It's so much better. Let's see if we have players seated right now. Oh, David, you're in luck. We are seeing Storm. I did not expect Nathan to agree
I'm in
to
luck?
be. What cards should you buy to get better? I don't have a good answer to that question. Tarmogoyf?
It's a good question.
Thoughtseize.
It really
Thoughtseize
depends.
is the answer to that.
It depends what you want to play.
Yeah, what format, that sort of stuff. I got to reset all this stuff. You guys describe cards that
I would
are
recommend
cards-
standard is a good starting
It's
point.
more.
Siege Rhino.
It's more
The
about.
answer.
It's gonna rotate.
It's more about getting the baseline level of cards you need
Yes.
to play a competitive deck, and then you can get better.
Which usually means buy lands.
But the cards themselves, it doesn't matter so much which cards, if that makes sense, which it probably doesn't.
No. The way you described that was truly terrible.
The best thing might
I
just
try to be
be
of
to,
service.
instead of buy cards, just make friends and borrow cards, and then figure out what you like to play, and maybe buy those cards for yourself eventually.
I'm
Maybe.
always a firm advocate.
Of borrowing cards.
Bye, Ribbon.
Borrowing my cards and never giving them back.
I offered.
To give them back.
Phil's got some cards of mine for Amulet Bloom right now. Won't be getting those back before it gets banned, which is fine because I never wanted to play it, but
Yeah, it's true.
it is pretty funny.
Burn cards are good. I would recommend burn cards. But I don't know. Burn is is a surprisingly interesting deck.
Not everyone likes playing it though.
I hate playing it personally.
Yeah.
It's truly.
Some people love it though.
I liked playing like red deck wins back when those were decks, but I don't really like burn.
I actually think the current Atarka red deck in standard is a pretty fun and
Yeah.
powerful deck.
Oh, it's very bad.
And
It's a combo deck.
It's also pretty affordable to build.
Yeah, I think the Atarka red deck. Like what's expensive in that deck? Like Atarka's Command
The
and
lands,
Fetch lands.
yeah, the fetch lands,
about
which are
it.
just like good purchases because they'll retain value very well.
Yeah, I would actually. Yeah, I would recommend that. And like Atarka's Command is an incredibly powerful and
Most
good
of
card.
the spells in the deck are commons or uncommons, which is
Every spell, but Atarka's Command.
Yeah,
It's just like shocks and pump spells.
there's like Abbot of Carol Keep,
Sure.
which is a creature.
Yeah, Chandra.
Also a great card.
Play Chandra.
Yeah.
I think Nathan is mulligan to 5 this game, but it's a pretty good 5. See Lion's Eye Diamond Dark Ritual.
Speaking of Abbot of Carol Keep, if we have time later, I want to talk about a potential blue-red prowess deck in Standard
Of course.
because it sounds awesome.
For you, Greg.
There are moments where you can play Legacy and Standard, and things with prowess seem like one possibility.
That new crad with the blue red 1/3 flyer.
Yeah, the 1/3
Storm Chaser
flying
Mage.
haste prowess. That's a lot of abilities on
That
a
is a lot
2-mana
of
card.
abilities. I'll grant you that.
All right. Tone is... Anthony. Heretofore known as Tony. Casting a main phase Brainstorm, finding a critical piece of interaction in Force of Will. I'm not certain he has another blue card.
So this is a pair down for Tony?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think there are 3 undefeateds at the moment.
Gotcha.
The other 2 being Kyle Houtman playing Grixis Tezzeret and John Loudis playing Shardless Bug.
And these, Tony and Nathan, 2 of our legacy regulars in the
Diehards,
shop.
I would say.
I think they probably both knew what each other were playing coming into the round, and I mean they're very familiar with each other.
Yep.
And they're friends. We're all friends.
Yep. Nathan casting a Cabal Therapy on Anthony here. Let's see if Tony... Let's see if he names Force of Will. That's usually the go-to name. You tend to name Force of Will when you're close to going off, but if you're not that close...
You take Brainstorm?
Brainstorm's a very viable guess. And looks like he whiffed.
I said Brainstorm.
I think he named Brainstorm.
That's what it seems like. And it also seems like Tony's next turn is going to be casting Painful Truths.
Oh yeah, Painful Truths, one of the best ways you can unmulligan a hand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically the opposite of what Nathan wanted to see that turn. Now Tone is going to be looking for any sort of other interaction pieces, more counter spells, and really just a clock. Jace is sort of a clock.
Hello to David Byer in the chat. Longtime viewer.
Yeah, but the blind therapy is always extremely tricky in Storm because there are many different cards you care about. I could have also seen Nathan naming Monastery Mentor that turn.
Just to take away the clock?
Yeah, that's Tony's best clock by far.
Yeah.
And he clearly doesn't have Deathrite Shaman.
Mm-hmm.
Deathrite Shaman, which is one of the more annoying cards to play against, but it doesn't provide an actual clock.
I'm going to go home.
All right, David Glesher leaving us for the night. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you.
We didn't note it on the stream, but David was our brief guest commentator for the night. Only through rounds 1 and 2, and that's it. Thank you, David.
Bye, Dave.
Goodbye.
Grand Prix top 8 competitor, David Gleischer.
That's the one. 2-time or 1-time?
I think 1.
At least once.
One that we know of
Yes.
semi-recently.
Like 3 or 4 years ago.
It was with Tron, though.
I know. Tony casting Painful Truths that turn. He found Mentor, Land, and Cabal Therapy. So next turn he's set up to do some really powerful and annoying stuff. And really bad stuff for Nathan. Let's see. Nathan starts things off with a Gitaxian Probe. Tony is at least considering Force of Will, but that seems aggressive. Yeah, he's got Force, Plow, Jace, Plains, Spell Pierce, Cabal Therapy, Mentor.
Jeez.
This is extremely good.
Yeah. Next turn, you're probably looking at Mentor into Cabal Therapy.
Yeah.
Or Mentor hold up Spell
Spell Pierce,
Pierce. Either that Tony feels more confident about.
Nightwing, this is happening in Chicago, Illinois. We are at MTG CardMarket, the store. We do this every week, every Thursday.
Yeah, and CardMarket also has a pretty strong web presence and Grand Prix presence as well. So if you ever see them at a big event, be sure to check out their shop. And if you like the stream, friendly mentions of our lovely selves are always welcome.
Oh yeah, specifically for our egos.
Yeah.
That's what we needed.
So here we see Cabal Therapy coming down after Monastery Mentor. Tony gonna generate a monk token here, and what do you think he names here? We see Brainstorm in response, so that's in theory going to change what Tony might name.
Ooh, and Tony gonna aggressively Force of Will that. I like that Force of Will. He's gonna get at least one hit off of this therapy. I think the first therapy goes after Infernal Tutor, and he bricks. And this next one's going to take Lion's Eye Diamond. I think Nathan should have played the Lion's Eye Diamond last time.
Yeah, maybe. You just want to get it into play.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like... So there, what Tony did, he generated a second token off of the Force of Will, sacrificed one of the tokens to flash back the Cabal Therapy, but doing so gives him another token, so it replaces itself, essentially.
Yeah, it's a really powerful interaction. Nathan draws Preordain for the turn. He sees a land, which is certainly going to the bottom, and I believe... a Brainstorm? We'll see what he decides to do. Yep, the one spell going on top, one on bottom. This is a tough spot to win from. Nathan really just needs to draw Past in Flames.
Yeah, and also, like you said, not having the LED in play it even makes Past in Flames harder to turn into a win.
Yeah. So Nathan is playing lands because he's aware that Tony has Spell Pierce, but it is going to make his Brainstorm worse, which is a bit of a downside. Might see Tony here just go Jace, Trigger, Mentor.
Yeah, it represents a lot of damage, and the likelihood that Nathan's going to be able to kill him next turn is just so low.
Looks like he's going to attack for 4 here.
Okay. Playing conservatively.
Holding
Yeah,
up.
Tony just going to sit back.
Doesn't want
This
to let him know they drew a land this turn, I
It's
guess.
going to take probably 3 more attacks from this position.
Yes. So, ooh, there's Ad Nauseam,
Another pedal.
Second Petal, and Dark Ritual. So this is
Pretty good.
This is a really good place. This is why Brainstorm is. I always argue that Brainstorm is at its most scary in a deck like Storm.
Makes sense.
You just end up there are so many 3-card combinations you can hit that just
kill them.
instantly kill your opponent.
Looks like Nathan recognizes that because he's tanking hard here on what to put back, and he might be trying to craft a kill out of these cards.
It's pretty likely he can do it. He just has to not brick on
He has to play
this
through
Ad
Spell
Nauseam,
Pierce, right? That's the one thing he knows about.
which is very easy.
right.
I think
with
let's
Dark
see, well,
Rit and Petal.
So it was Dark Rit, pedal, land?
Well,
for Brainstorm?
yeah. So he has to just he's
Dark
pretty,
Rit, Petal, Ad Nauseam.
Ad nauseam.
Yeah, so he has 2 petals, a land, and a dark red and Ad Nauseam in his hand. So if he puts back land petal, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That doesn't get it through Ad Nauseam.
Yeah.
So I think any which way you slice it, he's going to be short of mana. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah,
Yeah, just wait one more turn, I guess.
yeah, and then it's going to be really hard to do it next turn because he's going to have to take a bunch more damage. I have to imagine that Tony casts the Jace next turn, and then you're just getting really hit. Oh no, he doesn't have the Jace. I'm sorry. He pitched the Jace to Force Will.
So here,
What is he holding?
he's holding 2 Plows, a Caracas, and a Spell Pierce. So just Spell Pierce for real interaction.
Bangs, we actually are we are what Wooberg used to be. Our stream has shifted to MTG CardMarket Live. This is the stream was bought out by MTG CardMarket from Mark McManus, and it has been under CardMarket's management for a little while now.
A couple months, I think.
Yeah. All right, so Tony drawing another Swords to Plowshares. Is he gonna Swords?
Yeah.
He's gonna Swords one of his guys.
This
Respond
generate-
by
Ooh.
okay. So trigger. I think he's gonna Spell Pierce it.
Interesting.
So that's
Does this kill?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
4
6,
probably
7, 8,
triggers,
9,
yeah.
10,
Oh, wow.
11.
This kills.
11, 12, 13. No, it's 13.
So maybe we missed a point?
No, he can do it again. He has another Swords.
Oh, sure. Jeez.
Wow. I
Mentor's gross.
did not expect that. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
That's how you use prowess, right?
Jeez. For those wondering, this is actually a Storm Mirror. They just called it Prowess.
Yeah.
That's why you see like so many of these Prowess cards finding their ways into older formats is because it's effectively Storm.
The
Like,
spells are so good.
yeah, they're incredibly powerful. Monastery Mentor. I mean, I've seen Seeker of the Way in Legacy before they printed this card. Like Abbot of Carol Keep has shown up in Modern to some extent. I don't know if it's ever going to show up in. I mean, it certainly has the power level to show up in Legacy, but
I think it's too slow.
It is quite a bit slower, and you have to. And finding a spot for these sort of cards is always challenging.
Yep.
It's much more expensive than a card like Mentor. You don't immediately get you get value off of it, but it lends itself to a more mid-range style deck because it works so poorly with counterspells. It's just a very different card.
I mean, it's really cool to play with anything that just craps the top of your deck.
Yeah, but it can only be so powerful in that regard. From Nathan's side, cards I would consider sideboarding. Honestly, not a ton. I don't like the Esper deck has sort of 2 fronts of interaction, and that's discard and counter spells. Xanad Swarm is probably a card if I have access to I'd be looking to board in, or maybe I've seen Defense Grid in the past. Not sure what else I would be interested in boarding in. Like
Some versions of Storm have like the second Past in Flames in the sideboard sometimes. Like this seems like a very good matchup for Past in Flames in general.
yes, Past in Flames is outstanding against Force of Will in general.
Yeah, Force of Will and discard.
Against attrition.
Yeah.
And really, any attrition matchup, Past No Flames is your best card.
And-
and drawing, it makes drawing it so incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Because your opponent just always has to counter it. It's a must counter. It just, if it resolves, you just get an insane amount of value.
So this Esper Mentor deck, I'm kind of viewing it as the, I guess the child of Esper Stoneblade to some extent. And Esper Stoneblade is, functions sort of like a Jund deck, like a legacy blue Jund deck, which is all about trading and attrition. And so many of the elements and spells in Tony's deck they're doing the same things. He just instead of Stoneforge Mystic, he just has Mentor as his kill.
I would say even more so, it's closer to a Shardless deck.
Okay.
Like you don't have Shardless Agent, you have Painful Truths.
Okay.
Instead of Tarmogoyf, you have Monastery Mentor. You both have Deathrite. It's pretty similar.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, didn't like the Esper Mentor list? Isn't that like a Pat Chapin deck?
Yes, Patrick
And he
Chapin.
was also kind of like one of the pioneers of the Stoneblade back in the day.
Oh yeah, him and Matt Sperling.
progression.
Yeah, him and Matt Sperling played it in Grand Prix Seattle. That was sort of the first time
Yeah.
we saw that. Nathan is the commentator from Wednesday. Yes, Nathan often shows up doing commentary for us.
Yeah, he plays a lot of Magic here.
He does.
I think he's a college student still.
Yeah, he goes to
Downtown.
Columbia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
art school, effectively. I always think of it as art school. It's not always art school.
It's a lot of schools.
But yeah, post board. I mean, I'm always for Storm is a very like well-oiled machine, and sideboarding with it is extremely delicate.
Yeah, most combo decks, right? But
Yes.
Storm maybe even more so than
Yes.
other combo decks in the format.
Yeah, looks like Nathan's boarding in. Let's see, Chain of Vapor. I think he was boarding in Carpet of Flowers, which is fine but not great. I'm not a huge fan of it. I like Carpet of Flowers when your opponent is really, really involved in soft counters. For instance, it is the single best sideboard card against Rug Delver.
Mm-hmm.
It is just, oh man, does it feel good to resolve that card against them. Like every Daze and Spell Pierce just instantly blanked for the rest of the game.
Boarding in Chain of Vapor makes me think a few things, specifically about why Nathan is doing it against Tony.
Oh, I know why.
The first and foremost thing it brings to mind is that Tony is known for his love of a card named Meddling Mage.
Right there. I bet Zinni brings Meddling Mage. I also bet Zinni brings Meddling Mage. Even if Meddling Mage wasn't originally in the list that he had, guarantee
He'll
he
find
added
room
that.
for it.
Of course. The man is addicted to meddling. He's a true meddler.
It's a sweet card.
It is a
I don't
sweet
blame
card.
him.
It is sweet.
There's nothing, I don't think Tony actually derives any more joy than the second Meddling Mage.
Yeah, the second Meddling Mage usually naming Abrupt Decay.
Or Chain, like whatever. It's just so annoying.
Chain is a nice card in the Storm deck, though, because like even if, for example, Tony doesn't find Meddling Mage and your Chain of Vapor doesn't really have a great target, you can just use it to generate more Storm during a combo turn.
Yep. Both players have kept 7. Tony keeping, it's got a Force of Will.
Does he get probed?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
There's Force of Will, Brainstorm, 3 fetch lands, and 2 mentors. I mean, this is a sort of hand you basically have to keep. You have a piece of interaction, you have a threat. I mean, what more can you really ask for? I guess more
Brainstorm
interaction.
and Mentor in your opening hand. Like, I would keep the rest of the hand blindly if I had a Brainstorm and a Mentor.
I would say even more so just the Brainstorm, Force of Will. But yeah, the Brainstorm, you have fetch lands. Like, things can only go so poorly from here on out. It really is up to how fast Nathan's draw is. And it doesn't appear that it's incredibly fast, but Nathan is doing some math.
Phil, are you playing the Modern 5K?
No, I'm doing commentary for it.
Or I guess 2K.
Yes, 2K.
Yeah.
Dread of Night. Nathan brought in Dread of Night. That's
Nice.
interesting. I don't.
That's some tech.
I don't
like that.
hate that. I don't love it, but it's not that bad. Like every single Mentor token is gone. Now Mentor is just Mentor is a 3-mana 1/1 with prowess.
This is the first time seeing Dread of Night in play hasn't made me feel physically ill.
You're not getting like flashbacks from what's going on here.
Yeah, no cold sweats this time.
All right, so Nathan going Lotus Petal Ponder, indicating that he is a little short on blue mana. Looks like he kept a hand that only had basic Swamp as a land.
Ambitious.
Usually a fine thing to do in Storm, and it looks like it resolves. Ooh, this is... Oh my goodness.
Is that LED, fetch land, and what?
2 LEDs.
2 LEDs and a fetch land.
Yeah.
So,
Giddy up.
I wonder how much Nathan wants to keep this. He really needs to find a Duress.
Yes.
Without Duress, his he's really not going to be able to do anything. He has every other piece.
He could keep... Yeah, so he keeps the fetch. That makes sense.
Yeah, the fetch is the most important card.
Now
there.
he can clear the top of his deck when he wants to.
I have to imagine it's going to get cleared next turn. He has Ritual, Infernal Tutor.
Yeah, so he
his
just
hand?
needs to clear the way for one turn through the Force of Will. No, he
Tell me
draw...
the-
Oh, he has
Yes.
Brainstorm. Okay, yeah, so he
Ooh.
can fetch... Actually, okay, this makes sense. So he can fetch this turn.
Fetch, then Brainstorm.
And try and hit
hopefully
Duress.
hit Duress.
If he hits
use the
Duress,
swamp.
he probably wins the game.
Yeah, I mean, unless like his Dark Ritual gets Force of Willed, which is also fine.
Oh yeah, Zinni would play Dredge in like Jund. Sorry,
Play
Dredge
Meddling
would
Mage.
be Meddling Mage and Jund, not Dredge and Jund. Yeah, but that's probably a better. He would play it in Belcher.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tony used to play Shardless Bug, and he just added white so he could play Meddling Mage.
Yeah, he wasn't the first to do that, but he did find it. I think that got him on board.
He probably just put more copies.
All right, so Nathan fetching with Polluted Delta here, shuffling away one of those Lands of Diamonds. I think it's fair to keep one. I think that's completely reasonable. It's Lands
so
of Diamonds.
good.
It's likely better than a random draw,
Yeah.
or significantly better. All right, Brainstorm.
Just flops on the table.
What? It just I mean, force this. I dare you. Past in Flames. That actually might do it as
There's
well.
the
Past in
therapy.
Flames.
Well, therapy
Ad nauseam
also
therapy, is that what you
does it. He puts back one of these tutors. He can put back the Past in Flames too. This should wrap it up. It really depends if Zinni Force of Wills this
Dark
Ritual.
Yeah. I wonder if
Wouldn't he
Tony's gonna sniff this out.
I think he has to. Oh, he has. Oh, he does have. He has drawn another blue card. He drew Ponder.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still a possibility he can like brainstorm into a Flusterstorm.
Yeah.
Which I mean, that's an out. Oh yeah, Zinni would play it in Burn, absolutely. Let's see what Nathan decides to do here. I think if he wants to go for it, he has to lead with this Dark Ritual.
Yeah. I mean,
Versus the LED. Why the Dark Ritual instead of the LED?
The LED resolving doesn't really matter.
it doesn't let him Cabal Therapy before.
Yeah, he needs the mana first.
Gotcha.
He needs the mana up front, I should say. So if this resolves, then he gets to go Therapy U, name Force of Will.
Play some more rituals.
He has a Cabal Ritual. He has LED.
He doesn't have Threshold, though.
He will once this and the Therapy resolve.
Are there 5?
1, 2, 3,
Looks
4,
like
5.
there are 4. Oh, okay. There are 5.
All right, so I think Tony is. I wonder if Tony's going to brainstorm here. I honestly don't love this brainstorm. We'll see. Like
We'll see what he hits.
yeah.
guess,
I mean, if he hits like Flusterstorm or like force third blue card.
He probably is hoping to hit a soft counter. He doesn't want to have to waste his Force of Will on
Yeah.
the Dark
I
Red.
guess a
Pierce would be good.
Spell Pierce would be excellent.
Yeah.
Would get him out of here. And it would successfully protect his Brainstorm. I mean, his Force of Will from future action. Painful Truths, Island, and Brainstorm.
Not really any help.
No, I mean, Brainstorm in this spot is
It's okay.
well, it's a redraw,
Yeah.
but it means he can't use a soft counter anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, there's no copies of Daze in Tony's deck.
No, there might be one.
That'd be surprising.
I like this Force of Will though.
Yeah, this is the kind of Force of Will that strikes me as very experienced.
I agree.
Like in the format.
Yes,
Forcing the Writ?
yes.
Yes.
A lot of times players want to, like, if they have one counter, they think to themselves, I'm going to wait until their action spell, because Storm, that's how Storm works. It has, it goes Ritual, 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 and then ends with either Infernal Tutor or Ad Nauseam or Dark Petition or something like that. But a very common play, which Tony is aware of, is the Ritual into discard spell into Rituals kill you.
Yeah.
So Tony's awareness in that regard is extremely important.
So often, Storm is only has maybe one source to get black mana for the turn, and if you essentially take away that one resource for the turn, you've taken away their whole turn.
You just time lock.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is going to be very, very interesting here because
The tone just
Ooh,
pass.
so he drew. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. He
See,
brings-
Lucksack Delver Flip in the chat calling out that Painful Truths is a embarrassing card in this deck.
Look, man. Sometimes you need an expensive Night's Whisper.
Yeah.
All right. So Tone casting Brainstorm and drawing the casual nuts. Double Force of Will Spell Pierce after
Yeah.
drawing Cabal Therapy for turn.
Well, that's why you put the cards in the deck.
Apparently so.
Seems pretty.
I have to imagine one of these mentors and one of the Painful Truths is going back.
Yeah.
He needs the land. He needs one mentor.
I think Painful Truths is fine in this deck.
Oh, I know. I actually think it's quite good.
It does what the deck is trying to do. The question is it too slow for the format?
Yeah.
It's slow, certainly.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see what is named on this. If he doesn't name therapy, oh yeah, he named. So this is pretty sick if you're Nathan, because he has the other one on top of his deck.
Ooh.
He has. Well, okay. He might have it. He might also have the Past in Flames on top of his deck. Both are good. I think Past in Flames is on top.
Okay. And Tony's sitting here on, what is this in his hand here? He has Spell Pierce, Force of Will.
Brainstorm, I think.
Okay.
So Nathan has.
He has double force.
Does he have? Does
I
he have
believe.
the requisite?
Unless
Oh
he
no,
no.
Didn't
He put the force on
brainstorm
top.
Ponder at some point?
He
here?
exiled the Ponder
Off the
using
force.
it for the force.
Does Tony have the third blue card? Because the question is,
No,
does
he has the. I think he hid the second force.
Okay, so this turn he only has Force of Will or Spell Pierce.
Yeah, but Spell Pierce looks like it's going to be good enough since, I mean, this has got to be a juicy Spell Pierce target. You let it resolve?
Looks like it resolves.
Oh, man.
Interesting.
This is probably going after Force of Will?
I mean, oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, I think he does have both forces in hand.
Well, he's got to force that, right?
He only has one other blue card. Oh, no, he doesn't. He has
No, he's
one
got
force.
Mentor, Force, and something else.
Force, Pierce.
Yeah, so he's leaving him with the Pierce. So that's 4 mana. Storm is 2.
Storm counts 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So can he get to Past in Flames through Spell Pierce?
5, 6, 7. 5. Nope.
Doesn't work, right?
Nope. Wow.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Nathan, yeah, he's stuck.
He could empty if he has it. Empty would be pretty solid here.
It would be.
That's a card I would be...
Does he main deck that, do you know?
Yes, but I don't know if he left it in. Emptying, I think, would be completely reasonable here. You get like 8 goblins or something like that, and his mentor
Should be
can't make
more
any
than
more
enough,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the CMC on empty ones?
4.
It's 4.
Red 3. This is the only real thing that he'd be able to do here. But
I'm seeing Luxac Delver Flip has some strong opinions about Legacy. He's a friend of Mark's, actually, from the East Coast, and I believe quite the Legacy aficionado.
it's fair. Looks like Nathan just passed.
Interesting.
He realized that he couldn't do anything. I think this is going to be a Painful Truth for Zinni. I think Painful Truth is a very reasonable card. I agree it's slow for Legacy. 10 goblins on turn 2 didn't get there. I mean, that's vintage. So many I feel even the fair decks in vintage have combos in them. It's like, oh, I'm playing a fair deck, but it has Tinker Blightsteel or something like that. Vault Key.
Seems pretty good.
Yeah, like turn 1 that's beatable. Also, like the mentors in that format are just unreal.
Yeah.
And the Pyromancers.
Gush seems good.
Yeah, but Chalice and Zero is also a thing.
The Chalice is restricted now.
In the vintage, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
It's because Shops was
Real annoying.
pretty oppressive.
All right, so Tone passing with just Force of Will up. There it is.
So from this spot,
So he did Painful Truths there?
I think I would
Yes,
just
he did.
Infernal Tutor for another Lion's Eye Diamond.
sure.
I think I might have done that last turn, actually. No, because he wanted to draw the Past in Flames. Never mind. But I think just casting a fair Infernal Tutor for another LED is completely reasonable here. The downside is it means that he's still extremely vulnerable to one counterspell.
Yes.
He needs to draw some sort of ritual. Like his other option is, I mean, doesn't really have another option.
Mm-mm.
Pass? Pass is his other option.
Pass seems kinda
Yeah, Painful Truth is very rough against Delver decks, I agree.
Nathan seems like he's in a tough spot.
Here, my thing with Painful Truths is that I always think it's not as good as it is until I cast it. And
You're like, wow, my hand is double the size now.
it's just so good. I really enjoy that card. It's almost as good as Catacomb Sifter.
that card's
yeah.
gross.
We'll see what Nathan decides to do here. This is a very, very tough spot to navigate out of. He knows that Zinni has a Force of Will. Nathan's extremely light on resources. This Past in Flames basically has to resolve for him to win.
He's really just tanking about is Infernal Tutor in his hand better as itself or better as Lion's Eye Diamond?
Yeah, and it looks like he decided it's better as itself.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that new Goblin from Oath, the 5-drop?
Oh,
Goblin Dark
Phil
Dwellers?
is a
Yeah.
fan.
I really like it.
Seems like your kind of card.
We were play testing some Standard before this tournament, and Phil was showing me the dank dwelling.
Dark.
Sorry.
Yeah, almost
dark.
got it. It's extremely good.
Yeah.
I think it's
Because
a
it's
very,
a CMC3 spell, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good card. I don't know if it'll see much play outside of Standard, but it seems exceptionally powerful in Standard.
Yeah.
All right, end step, Vendilion Click is basically exactly what you want if you're Zinni, and it looks like he hit the Past in Flames.
Now, I mean, from this spot, he can deploy Mentor and leave up 2 mana, which seems pretty safe.
Yeah, and Force of Will.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he has, I think, Spell Pierce still in his hand, too, right?
1/1 Mentor, get in there.
He has Force of Will plus Spell Pierce available. Okay, just
Get out of here.
Wow.
Get this 1/1 out of here. I think that's a good play.
Yeah,
He's going to get, what, the Tutor? Yeah, so he sees that.
makes a lot of sense.
Chain of Vapor, yeah, now Nathan's hand is really bad.
Pretty bad.
I think this is the point where I just play the LED. Like, specifically because Zinni's at such a low life.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean,
This is why. Holding your trinkets against Cabal Therapy decks can be a pretty severe liability.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, you're really playing towards the attrition element that you were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
You just want to set up Past in Flames
Yep.
late in the game.
Yep. I mean, he hasn't. It's unfortunately not in his yard right now.
It's kind of deceptive with Storm because you think about it as this fastest combo deck in the format sort of deck, but you can win with Storm on turn 10, and sometimes that's like the best way to approach the game
Yeah,
with a given hand, with a given matchup.
absolutely. The deck has. I mean, it's not like the deck gets worse as the game goes longer.
Yeah, you're still playing a lot of just very powerful cards.
Yeah, and
I think there are
cantrips.
different versions of Storm that definitely grind better than this.
I think this
Like,
is actually the best version for long games.
You think so?
Absolutely. You're the most like
What about the Ant one?
this is Ant.
Yeah.
That's
Which
what
one am I thinking of then?
Tess.
So
Yeah,
Tess,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Tess is much more for the for the speed and explosiveness. It's a little more. It's not as resilient.
Yeah, and the designer of Tess, Bryant Cook, his build has actually become more and more homogenous with Ant.
Yeah.
Like, he's slowed his version down more with time. Like, I think he's trimmed on Chrome Mox,
Yep.
perhaps, and has moved...
Yeah, I think it's down to 2 Chrome boxes.
And he's still playing like Rite of Flame, but it's significantly slower than it was. Yeah, Dark Petition is unbelievable in Vintage. It is so good. It was so good that like half the VSL was Storm.
Sure.
Did
I think
I miss an attack?
in things like the VSL, everyone just wants to look fancy.
No, I don't know if
No?
that's true. Like, half the people are playing shops.
All right. Well, all right.
And
the
different
the
shops
people
then.
who think that they're good, or like,
Everyone thinks they're good. Everyone in that is like a Platinum Pro.
except for the vintage-only players.
Yeah, which are just like extremely accomplished Vintage
Yeah.
players. Like Rich Shea.
Yeah.
Rich Shea who's...
Rich Shea is just a very good player.
Yeah. All right. Nathan thinking. He drew empty the Warrens. Is it enough? I don't think it's going to be enough. I think he's just too slow. He needs like two... He can only do it for... Well,
I think you can do it for 4, right?
we'll see what he decides. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can do it for 7.
Oh, because he's got
If he-
ritual.
if he ba-
ritual?
No, and he can Chain of Vapor his own...
Dread of Night.
Yes, and
That would
recast
be
Oh
it.
my god.
Silly.
Hey, it's a legal play. Don't worry. Tone has Flusterstorm.
Sure, why not?
He's very rich. We'll see.
Flusterstorm is a busted magic card.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
Flusterstorm, I gotta say, I cringed when I saw that card printed.
Yeah.
Wasn't that in like a commander?
Yeah, the very first
Yeah.
one, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Ridiculous.
Made me very sad. Along with True Name Nemesis.
That one made me more sad.
Yeah, obviously. Spell Pierce, your Cabal Ritual. I would just pay for this, I think. It's just gonna get... It'll just Flusterstorm it, right? Says resolves. Pass? Ooh, I don't think you can pass. Because now Tony is lethal no matter what.
Yeah.
This is 3, putting you to Oh, chain it. Oh, jeez.
Well, I could see Tony aggressively countering this.
Flusterstorm. This seems fine.
It puts Nathan to 4, which is, yeah.
Yep. I think this is a good Flusterstorm.
Just 2 Deathrite activations, if nothing else.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Nathan's going to pack it in.
Yeah, and that's going to be it. Esper Mentor taking on Storm in 2 games. Therapy, I think, was just outstanding.
Yes.
Really, really good card, Cabal Therapy.
Seems good.
Always has been amazing. Always will be amazing. I don't know. Cabal Therapy is one of my favorite cards of all time. And every time I see it cast, I'm almost jealous.
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty, not common favorite Legacy card for people who play a lot of Legacy, but it's like...
No, I think it is.
Yeah,
I think it's
right.
I think it's a fun thing to say. I mean, it's exactly what's cool about Legacy. It's powerful and skill intensive.
It rewards knowledge of the format, knowledge of other decks.
Yes, very, very heavily. The blind therapy... one of the best articles about Legacy of all time is, I think, Caleb Durward. It's called, like, Therapy Session or something like that.
Yeah, it's a good name.
So good. And it's just all about, like, when you're supposed to name what against Cabal Therapy. It's an older article. But
anyone looking to get into
very
Legacy, I would in general recommend Caleb Durward articles. Like,
yeah.
Guy knows what he's doing.
He does. He hasn't played... I don't think he's played much Legacy recently, but he's just... has so much experience with the format. It's not stuff... And, like, Legacy, it's changes, right? But they're still mainstays. They're still pillars of the format that have been around for years. Show and Tell never really got worse. Show and Tell's been around for a while. Dark Ritual's been around for a while. These are not, like, crazy new decks that have popped up.
There used to be some other pillars that, Durward in particular was maybe familiar with, like Survival of the Fittest.
Well, he kind of... when he broke the format,
yeah,
that was a thing. Don't miss that one.
Yeah.
Don't miss that.
At that point in time, he was, it seemed like more of a Legacy specialist, and then he had that breakout period from, like, sprouting from his top 8 with Survival. One of the first Legacy GPs, I think.
Not one of the, I don't know if it was one of the first.
Not one of the first.
It was
an early Legacy GP.
Yeah, I know that wasn't GP Flash, was it?
I don't think so.
No,
it was after that. It might have been Columbus.
Yes, it was.
And he kind of swung from there into just like mainstream notoriety.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a big content producer for a long time. He used to be in the area, didn't he?
Yeah, he might
a while
have moved.
ago.
Yeah.
He doesn't live here anymore. I think he's in Madison at the moment.
Okay, not that far away.
But yeah, I think. Hey. Yes, I value the tool of being able to cast a 3-mana spell over a Wingmate Rock, because Wingmate Rock is a terrible card. Anyways, no, I think Therapy is just always such an exciting card for me to cast. I mean, I tend to play decks that I think the only decks I own have Cabal Therapy in them, at least in some capacity.
Yeah.
If not as a 4 of, then a large number perhaps in the sideboard. But it's just such a... It's so interesting. I mean, just because you can almost always trace back. Like, if you end up losing a game where you cast Cabal Therapy, it's very easy to trace back and say, all right, if I had just named that correctly, maybe I win the game. And it's small. These are very small percentages a lot of the time. I have a specific memory of losing a game playing Elves in the first Invitational I played in.
Okay.
In Charlotte. It was against Mark's friend Wilson Hunter.
Sure.
We were both 3-0. In the Legacy portion. I was excited. I was playing Elves. He was playing Storm. And I therapied him in Game 2. He tanked. And I named Brainstorm, and he Hollywooded me perfectly. Reveals his hand, no Brainstorm, and kills me. And if I had named Lion's Eye Diamond, I think I would have won.
That's pretty good.
And I was just like, that's what it is. Like, he recognized that the card was extremely important. He put me on the right level, and I failed to see that. That was critical. It's not the first time.
How about
that's
that
happened to me.
sketchy game 1 kill I got?
Oh, that was good.
For those who weren't watching, is that Wilson Hunter?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. Storm Master Wilson Hunter. For those not watching, Tone cast I think 3 Swords to Plowshares on his own creatures to win.
Yeah.
No, it was it could have been 3, but instead he went. Oh no, it needed to be this. It was Swords, Spell Pierce my Swords, Swords the 1/1 I just made.
It
with
had to
Mentora.
be pierced, so I wouldn't have had enough creatures on board.
Exactly. Yeah. Not something you see very often.
That's some game 1 ingenuity right there.
Yeah, when you draw 3 Swords to Plowshares.
Oh, it's
With a
Petruncan
shuffle
Fed.
Oh, Patrunken Fat. Yeah.
I'm confusing usernames.
Well, yeah, because Wilson has showed up in the chat in the past to bring his presence.
Yeah, usually to
Alexis
tell
Streams.
us about his podcast.
Yes, that's true. Is that still around?
I don't think so.
I mean, you're the one who was listening to it. I don't
Yeah.
know. In any case, I think that's it for round 3. Are there any matches still going on, Tom?
Yeah, I think.
We can just talk.
We can just talk.
All right. Do you think that the new set coming into the new set that's coming out? Do you think it's going to spawn a variation on Mud in Legacy?
You mean? So are you saying like are the new cards going to show up? Basically, the new cards going to show up in Legacy.
Yeah. Like, are we getting
Like Eldrazi Mud?
Are we getting aggro shops in Legacy?
That'd be sweet. I think that'd be awesome. Thought-Knot Seer is a really powerful card.
It is.
Thought-Knot Seer is a scary card. I mean, like,
There are a lot of ways to put it out on turn 2 in Legacy. A lot.
yeah, it turns out in the format where you can play like I don't know, 16 soul lands or whatever.
Yeah.
Seems really powerful. I really like the idea of Thought-Knot Seer in Legacy. I think it's very potent.
Yeah.
I don't know if the thing is I don't know if any of the rest of them are like that's the only one that really interests me.
Yeah, I guess Reality Smasher is not exactly what you want.
Just a 5/5, like whatever. 5/5 haste, like casting a 5/5 haste a turn like some turns early is not a great accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
Esper Eldrazi? See, that seems ambitious because the idea of playing 3 and then like once Thought-Knot Seer comes out, effectively 4 colors in your deck is asking a lot because colorless mana is, you know, the new sixth color of Magic or whatever. Earlier I
Yeah.
called it the 4th color of Magic. That was wrong.
Phil really likes Jeskai.
No,
or Grixis.
I like all colors.
You just don't like green.
I like green. Elves.
You don't really like
Elves.
Oh, elves. That's a blue deck.
It is basically a blue deck. But no, I think that Thought-Knot Seer is really the only card that gets me excited legacy-wise.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, like the Matter Reshaper is a powerful card, but I think extremely slow.
It's more of a standard power. Like,
Yeah.
it plays better in standard.
I agree. And like maybe
on the same level.
I think it
guess.
has maybe a spot in Modern, but it's still pretty slow. Eldrazi Displacer and Death and Taxes. Have you thought about it?
I thought about it,
And?
and then I thought that it's bad.
So I would be more interested in that if you had legitimate good come into play abilities,
Stoneforge.
and that's it.
That is it.
That's the only good come into play ability. Everything else, like the reason Flicker Wisp is so powerful is because it flickers everything.
For free.
Yeah, and like the fact that it's like 6 mana to activate, I think it's just
In a deck where so often you want to be porting and wastelanding very aggressively, it's, you know, I was thinking about it at first, and like it seemed kind of sweet. You know, like there are scenarios you can think of where Displacer would be insane.
yeah.
Even like blinking your own Flicker Wisp to get more Flicker Wisp triggers, but I think overall you can't afford that sort of time and mana commitment in Legacy. The format's just too fast. I think in terms of like a Death and Taxes kind of shell, this card might be more reasonable in Modern.
Possibly. I mean, there's much more. I think there's a little bit more of an aspect of come into play abilities there.
Yeah.
I mean, like even just like a card like Blade Splicer.
Exactly. Yeah. Blade Splicer. I mean, they also have like Restoration Angel in that deck usually.
Blink Resto Quebec.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like they play Kitchen Finks sometimes.
Kitchen Finks, yeah.
Potentially if Stoneforge got unbanned.
Eternal Witness.
I've seen some versions.
I've seen it in the green white version.
Yeah, the heavier green with like Noble Hierarch version.
Well, I think all the green versions play Noble Hierarch. It's
Okay,
like the reason to play
yeah,
green.
yeah, all right.
Like anything that lets you go turn 2 Arbiter and Ghost Quarter seems really important. But yeah, I just think it's too expensive for Legacy.
Yeah.
Like Death and Taxes does seem like one of the few decks that can reliably get colorless mana in this regard, but
Yeah, I agree.
I'm really not excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, in terms, the other card I was thinking about that uses colorless mana is Seagate Wreckage.
Oh yeah,
Which I was also talked out of in terms of trying it in Death and Taxes. It's probably also just too slow, and I mean, I can think of some scenarios and matchups where it could be good, but it's a lot of mana, and the chance that the game is like any given game, or like many games over a given tournament give you an opportunity to make this card good, as opposed to like the drawback of it being a colorless land in a deck that you need a lot of white mana,
And also that you
off
already have a lot of colorless lands that you
yeah,
can't cut.
exactly. Yeah.
This card is honestly, I think, the most exciting. It's the most exciting land, and one of the most exciting cards in the set to me. This is such a powerful effect.
Like, could you put it in lands?
Yeah, I mean, you could. Mana Bond, draw a card.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you could. Here's the thing: draw a card, replace the draw with Life from the Line.
Right. Maybe that's the best place for it. I don't know.
Maybe lands is a deck that certainly can empty its hand relatively quickly, but like
It's another port deck.
Yeah, and also sort of the issue with this card is that you only sometimes empty your hand.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue. Like lands is a deck that can empty its hand very quickly if it has either Exploration or Mana Bond, but outside of that, sometimes you just like draw and play a land, play a Mox Diamond or something like that.
Sometimes you're on the draw
Yeah.
in the game and you just have another card.
Yeah, it's extremely dirtily. That's the thing. Like,
It's not
slow.
Library of Alexandria.
No, it is not. Where I really see this card shining is Standard. I think it's going to be extremely good in Standard.
In aggressive decks?
Yeah.
Like maybe mono red, right?
Maybe mono.
Or I guess
No.
you don't have enough colorless.
I think it's more of like an Eldrazi aggro deck.
Okay.
Or a devoid aggro deck. I don't know what you want to call it. But maybe some sort of mono brown deck.
Yeah, a deck where you have a need for colorless mana.
Where you can play 4 of this.
Yeah.
Any deck where you can play 4 of this. Maybe even Eldrazi Ramp wants 4 of this card.
Maybe.
Like that depends. Like the Eldrazi Ramp deck can go a lot of different ways. This card can also show up in the Modern version, although again, Modern is a format that kind of punishes you for being really, really slow and dirtily. Like there's only so much dirtling you could do. You could do more of it in Modern than you could do in Legacy, but we'll see.
Ooh, let's talk about Warping Wheel. That's a good one.
Warping Will is such a weird card,
It is
man.
very weird. It's very hard to evaluate.
I have no clue how good Warping Whale is. I have no clue. Warping like Spatial Contortion is a card that's very obviously good, but Warping Whale is just so weird. Honestly, it doesn't seem very exciting to me in Standard.
No.
Like it exiles mono red cards sometimes.
In Standard, you'd really want
Gets Jace?
it's like you'd want the exile a creature ability to hit a lot of popular things, and it's probably just not enough things
No.
in Standard. Like countering a sorcery. What are the most powerful sorceries in Standard? Treasure Cruise, probably.
Painful Truths.
Those are the ideal hits.
Painful Truths.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, and then there's like obviously like Explosive Vegetation.
So like
Sweepers if you're playing an aggressive deck, like being
Yeah.
able to counter like a Languish or something like that if you're playing an aggressive deck.
So
or
maybe
Radiant Flames.
it's like a sideboard card in an Eldrazi aggro deck or something.
I
but-
guess like the fact that it's castable means something if you actually want to play all colorless lands or close to all colorless lands. But I really don't know where it fits. Like so, in Modern, I think it's a little more exciting because there are quite a few powerful sorceries.
Right. Yeah, the older formats, sorceries can do some busted
messed
things.
up stuff.
And this counters show and tell on Legacy.
Yeah, it's just like what, and that like think about that. Like if you're playing a mud deck or something like that, this is
Death
a
and Taxes.
counter spell you can cast.
Yeah.
It's an actual counter spell. Like you counter Glimpse of Nature, you counter Natural Order, you counter Show and Tell, you counter Infernal Tutor, you counter Past in Flames. Like
Yeah.
these are real cards.
I know the MTG, the
Reanimate.
Source chat, has talked about this card in the sideboard of D&T against elves, for example. Counters Natural Order and
Glimpse. Yeah.
and
And Green
like,
Sun Zenith.
Yeah, I mean, if they just don't cast any of those and you want to use your mana for the turn, it probably just hits a creature.
Detox, of course, would be so much better if you could cycle it. But like, what would be worse if you could cycle it?
If the
Nothing.
third mode was not make a Scion and was
Yeah.
something a little more generically good.
I think that only has utility in like Standard. But like as I said,
Yeah.
like the first mode and the second mode get quite a bit worse in Standard.
Yeah, like I guess in theory, this card could be good in Eldrazi Ramp.
It always kills Mother of Roots. Always.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, you could flicker.
Will
Wisp
Leaf
it out.
Leech. You can also kill Flicker Wisp.
Yeah.
This card's just great against Death and Taxes, is what I'm hearing.
Screw you.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
sorceries.
But killing the Mother Runes on like turn 5 when it's been out, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good against Dredge. Anything that like anywhere where Envelop would be playable, this has applications in decks that aren't blue.
This is killer in the Death and Taxes mirror.
Yeah, that 1/1.
Get Mother of Runes, get Phyrexian Revoker, get Stoneforge Mystic.
Sure. So you're saying this is slightly better than Sunlands. It kills Deathrite.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm not. I'm kind of like getting on board with this card.
Yeah, it might be good enough.
Yeah. You don't have a creature, you make a 1/1 to put a GT on
It's
it.
probably better than Sunlands.
Yeah. All right. We have already convinced Greg to cut Sunlance for this card. Everything's great.
Yeah.
Way better than Sunlance.
Yeah.
Doesn't kill Nettle Sentinel. I'm sorry.
Mm.
Move on.
It's okay.
Doesn't
It's
kill
not,
him.
usually not the one you want to kill in elves.
Doesn't kill.
Usually you want to kill the symbiote.
Doesn't kill a morph either.
It does not.
I've morphed a lot of Birchlaw Rangers in my time, which is not great.
It's the correct play an alarmingly high percentage of the time. Although when
So-
it is the correct play, you're also like typically a huge dog to win the game.
The best. There's like no better feeling than like morphing a Birchlaw Rangers and then beating your opponent like with a 2/2.
Yeah.
They just like have engineered plague and play, and you're like, take 2. Feels so good. Yeah, Warping Whale. All right, Greg's gonna play in the Legacy. We've got a confirmation. Not that we really play much. He plays much Legacy.
It's at
We're
least-
sitting here a lot.
Its existence is encouraging me to at least cut Sunlance.
Sunlance is
not
crap.
necessarily for this card, but
For this card, I agree. For this card,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just a very interesting card just because it's so weird. Honestly, the card Spatial Contortion is a card that I'm kind of pissed off exists because like why? This pisses me off. I would say similarly to how Dismember pisses me off. Why does a like blue-green deck get to do this? Why?
well, it's not just a blue-green deck.
Good
It's
point.
a blue-green colorless.
Colorless deck.
Are they gonna have to start giving that like title space in decks in standard? Like if they have a significant
really?
colorless element, are they going to be called like? Are they going to come up with names if it's like a blue-red colorless deck? It's like, is it colorless?
It's
control.
It's URC, a URC aggro deck.
That is.
I really don't know.
Inelegant.
It is extremely inelegant. Doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah. This card seems very good though.
Oh yeah, it's certainly gonna make a splash in standard.
Yeah, I mean, Chapin, I think, called it the most influential card in the set in his review.
Very possible. I mean,
think he said that.
it's a really good removal spell. You call it. I would call it Wingding. It's usually what it looks like a Wingding to me. But it kills a lot of the format's critical creatures while also missing on some other significantly critical ones. Like for instance, this is a very unexciting card against Abzan.
Yes. It really just kills the Warden of the First Trees.
And only early.
Yeah.
Kills Warden. It does kill Shambling Vent, which is honestly every time I play against the deck shockingly relevant. But Gideon Emblems I'll obviously mess with those sort of thing pretty often.
Yeah.
Kills like whatever 2-drop they're gonna play.
Yeah, I wonder also if Abzan's going to switch to the new 2/3.
I like that card
I do
more
too.
than most.
Yeah.
I want to play that card with like a lot of manlands.
Right.
I also just really like manlands because I like games that take a long time.
I kind of think the green-black manland's underrated. Like, when I
Yeah.
first saw it, I thought it was good, and then all the reactions I saw were like, this card's worse than Shambling Vent, it's disappointing,
Being
etc.
worse than Shambling Vent is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Shambling Vent is so good. Shambling Vent is already seen play in Modern.
Yeah.
Like that's
Black,
a
white tokens.
pretty like resounding announcement. I mean, yeah, I've seen it in other decks too, like 4-color control decks, randomly.
Abzan.
Not tier 1 decks. Yes, I actually have played against it in Abzan. Worst Demir and Is It Charm, neither of which are even close to playable. But those are blue cards. You're not playing. What if you're not playing blue?
Yeah.
You have to examine context here, white faces. It's not just it's worse than X and Y. It's like I can't cast X and Y, but this does a different thing. Like being able to counter Glimpse of Nature when you're playing Death and Taxes is a huge deal.
Yeah, I mean, Dismember is kind of just worse than Swords to Plowshares, but just not every color gets Dismember. And
Yeah.
similarly, like, Gutshot has been playable at various times.
Gutshot was good when Blue Red Delver was around.
Yeah.
It was just like man, Gutshot's always great. Gutshot just feels good. That's what I like about it. By the way, for
It
those
is literally a Gutshot.
for those wondering, Spatial Contortion kills Wastelands. Kills Etch Champion. So,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. This is a card I would say I'm least expecting to show up in Modern.
Mm-hmm.
I expect to see quite a bit of it in Standard, but for a similar reason that you don't really see Nameless Inversion in Modern, this is just not a powerful effect. No, I don't think this is playable in DD. I think Warping Whale
Yeah, we're
is
talking about
powerful
Warping
too.
Well with that one.
Yes, I think Warping Will is like a possible sideboard card in Death and Taxes. A possible sideboard in a non-blue deck.
Yeah, for spatial contortion, white
No,
already has access to a little more efficient removal.
Honestly, it's really hard to justify playing this card in any format where Dismember is legal. Spatial contortion in particular.
Yeah.
I think Warping Whale is absolutely playable in Death and Taxes. Not as, I don't think it would play in the main deck.
Yeah.
I think you could play in the sideboard.
It might not prove to be correct,
No!
but it definitely seems...
We don't know. It's possible.
There are a number of matchups where I can definitely see it being good enough to want it.
Yeah.
Specifically the Mirror, Elves, and maybe Show and Tell.
Yeah, I would certainly not immediately dismiss it. Does counter Massacre, but it doesn't stop Dread Knight.
Yeah, I can make a 1/1. That doesn't die.
And it can wear a G-Tank.
It can.
That will not be in your deck against Dread of Night deck.
Pick up Sword of Fire.
Sword of Fire Knights. There we go. We put it all together.
I think it's actually okay against Miracles too in Death and Taxes.
Counters
you can
Terminus.
Counter Terminus, and also can. I mean, there are situations where if they are tapped out and you have no board presence, you might just make a 1/1 token on their end step and suit it up with Sword of Fire Nice.
Yeah, because anywhere where you have a bunch of equipment, I feel comfortable making my case that Warping Whale. Yeah, exactly. The Kills Mom thing was something that was brought up earlier. I'm comfortable in saying that Warping Whale has potential to show up in Legacy.
Yeah.
Specifically in sideboards of non-blue decks.
Yes.
Also
Decks that want access to an envelop.
Yeah. Countering it like an Entreat the Angels, whew. Whew.
In colors that are not supposed to be able to do that,
Yeah, it's extremely hard to evaluate. I think that's the biggest issue. It's just such a weird card.
It
you
is.
don't see that sort of effect in a colorless set. As a colorless card that you can just quote unquote play in any deck, but we know that's not really true. You really have to make room for colorless cards acting as a sixth color.
There definitely are some tensions, especially
Yeah.
where you.
Oh no, the suggestion that Tron and Modern, I am sort of interested in, but also not really.
So it depends on the metagame. I think to want it in Tron, you need this counter a sorcery to be something you really want. I think.
Counters Crumble to Dust,
All right.
I guess, but how many decks are playing multiple copies of Crumble to Dust or multiple copies?
Yeah.
I'd say the most common quote Tron sideboard hate card is Fulminator Mage, and Fulminator Mage is not going to counter by that. Fulminator Mage is a generically good card that is almost always boarded in red/black deck sideboards for Tron. So, not being able to interact with the best hate card, I think, is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kozilek's Return is a very reasonable card to run in Tron. That killing Etch Champion is a big deal.
It's an instant. It kills manlands.
Yeah.
It's an absurd card. I can't.
Yeah.
I thought that was a sorcery. I can't believe they made instant speed Pyroclasm for only 3 mana. With upside. And it's colorless.
Well,
all
the
these
fact
things.
that it's easier to cast than Volcanic Fallout and is colorless is very, very strange. No matter how much Crumble rises in popularity, it's I think that Crumble will rise in popularity, but it's so hard to see more than one in sideboards. Coming from the perspective of someone often playing red decks, or red mid-range decks, it's so hard to find space for that sort of effect. For multiple of that effect because it's very narrow. Obviously, it's rising in popularity because of the Eldrazi deck, and that's a very strong candidate.
And Tron's been on an upswing.
Oh yeah, people are just sort of realizing how good Ulamog is, and it's real good.
Ugin.
Yeah,
Both.
people are still not playing enough Ugins, I think, but whatever. Oh, speaking of Modern,
Good time.
we have a Modern 2K happening a week from Saturday, January 23rd, here at MTG CardMarket in Chicago. If you're in Chicago or the area, come on by. 2K cash prizes. It's going to be a really fun tournament. And
New banned and restricted list.
yes, so this upcoming Monday, just a few short days from now, I'm pretty antsy, honestly. We have a bunch of friends going to the Pro Tour. I'm excited for them. But going to have the new ban list. And here is going to be that first tournament that we're going to see.
Yeah.
That new ban list in
The
effect.
day after it comes into effect.
Yeah, literally the day that Oath of the Gatewatch is released. What's up, Steve?
What do we got?
Zinni and John already left.
Okay.
Because they
drew.
drew. So who's Kyle playing?
I don't know.
Can we watch Houtman? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Cool.
That'd be,
I've
that'd
just
be
seen everybody else already.
Yeah,
I would-
so
I
we're
would
gonna
like to
watch
see
this round. We're gonna watch Kyle Houtman. He's 2-1, I guess.
Yes, playing
Okay.
Grixis Tezzeret.
Yeah, Grixis Tez. What is so the red is in theory giving Dak fade in, and I don't know what else. Like I
Shatter?
guess a
Some
third,
sort of shatter?
maybe a third color for engineered explosives or something.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. I was going to guess a shatter.
Okay.
Some sort of shatter. Because he doesn't really play Pyroblast because, again, the deck doesn't play 1-mana spells.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's you can't really play Red Blast, right?
No,
That's
you're.
the thing.
I mean, you're a 4 Chalice of the Void deck. You're
Yeah.
you're a Chalice deck.
Yeah.
First and foremost. So it should be sweet. Yeah, I think we're all looking forward. Is it Tuesday? I thought it was Monday.
I think it's Monday.
I think. Yeah, I also
believe
think it's
it's
Monday.
Monday.
Like the Monday after the pre-release is when they do it.
Yeah.
Is it Tuesday because of the holiday?
I don't know.
Either way, I'm also extremely excited. He's playing 2 Aether Grids in his main deck, by the way. I am extremely excited for the new BNR update. As someone who has played Amulet Bloom in a Grand Prix, that deck's got to freaking go. That deck does not need to be around any longer.
Yeah. And we'll be covering that tournament.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
So this Modern 2K, January 23rd here, and it will be streamed.
It is
And
going to be the longest tournament we've done.
yeah, we're psyched.
We're going to hate each other by the end of it.
yeah, not before at all.
Yeah, definitely not right now.
No, not even a little bit. But we're gonna look nice
Yeah.
I assume.
We'll dress up.
from the waist up.
Yep.
And
Basketball shorts.
yes, but yeah, we're gonna the
Full on Ben Stark.
the Ben Stark. Yeah, but no, we're gonna look nice. Stream's gonna be awesome. Gonna have lots of rounds of Modern. I know there's also a Star City Games Open that weekend, but it's just it's just standard, you guys.
Yeah.
Modern. That's what we're here for. That's the format of the Pro Tour. We all gotta get excited for it.
Yeah, it's like our personal little preview for the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
And we've
It's-
already
and
been
yours.
talking to like a lot of local players who we're friends with. They're already brewing, not
Yeah.
even knowing the BNR update. Like
Yeah.
they're talking about Thought Not Seer.
That's really the biggest thing. I believe it starts at noon. D Mark, is that right, or 11?
It's one or the other. We can iron or
I'm gonna tell you that it starts at 11. I'm gonna update you after I find it out.
yeah.
Oh, Grant Fly, you're home already. We missed you. For those wondering, Grant Fly was our third commentator tonight. Ask him questions about Rain of Salt.
Or Birthing Pod and Legacy.
Who do we got? Zeke again?
Yeah, so this is Zeke on the right on Maverick. We saw him in round 1 tonight defeat our Death and Taxes player in a pretty interesting fair battle. This round, Maverick versus
Time is the 2K
Grixis
start?
Tezzeret.
I'm 10.
Okay, 10. Okay, sorry. The 2K will start at 10. I believe streaming will start around then.
Yeah,
If
so
not a
10
little bit earlier.
Yeah, we'll try to be on earlier to
Give you a good preview.
get some warm up. Maybe we can do some scouting, see what the metagame's looking like.
Oh, I definitely want to take a look and see what's going on there.
So this matchup,
Steve, will you be playing?
Yep.
Are you gonna play 4 Eldrazi Temple?
Nope.
Nope. What are you gonna play?
does it depend on the ban and restricted announcement?
Okay.
Hopefully Stoneforge missed it.
Yeah.
All right, starting things off right.
Yeah, if that happens, I'm brewing nonstop.
Yeah.
All right. I want to look up this powerful Magic card, which has lost me several games.
Is this hanging out in Kyle's hand right now?
No, it doesn't. I mean, not sure if it is, but it's not coming down. If so.
Yeah.
Ooh, leading on a fetch line is pretty great here. Ooh, Thalia is a great
This is a
follow-up.
pretty good start for Zeke. And, alright, so this no attack with Mother of Runes is very interesting to me from Zeke. I wonder if he knows what he's playing against. And I wonder if he does know he's playing against Tez, is that a completely safe 1 damage attack with Mom? You know?
Yeah, like what are you playing around by not attacking there, really?
Exactly.
Yeah, if he knows he's playing against Tezzeret, I think I would have considered attacking, especially
Yeah.
with Thalia.
Uh-huh.
Especially, I should say, after Thalia resolves.
Sure.
Zeke blatantly breaking the no phone rule. We're real casual here, guys.
Yeah, he's probably texting his mom saying that he's on TV.
Yeah, that's got to be it. Mom, please tune into twitch.tv/mtgcm_live.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the attack would have been completely reasonable there.
Maybe he's asking his mom to tape this
Yeah, that would make sense.
so he can watch it later.
Yeah. Zeke getting an attack for 2 here, and Kyle not blocking. Doesn't want to just lose his Baleful Strix for no reason.
Alright.
Immediately getting wastelanded. Zeke really wants to execute a mana denial plan, and there's a second Mother of Runes.
Yeah, the mom doing a good job protecting Thalia. I mean, also Thalia's first strike doing a good job protecting herself, I guess.
Kyle's hand is pretty interesting here. He's got at least City of Traders, Polluted Delta, Force of Will, Transmute Artifact. Oh, yeah. Bring the beats.
Yeah.
One thing I do enjoy about this Grixis Tezzeret deck is that it takes forever to win the game.
It does.
It takes such a long time. Kyle's played it a fair amount at this point, so I think he's gotten pretty quick with it. But there's a lot of goofy interactions.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird decisions. Like, here, since Baleful Strix is so bad, like, is he supposed to... I guess he can't transmute Artifact yet because of Thalia, but... I mean, Strix is not doing much on this board.
Nope.
So I imagine that that will be something he's looking to transmute away.
I think, yeah. I think he's looking to find an Aether Grid. That's what he wants.
Aether Grid is good on this board.
Does have another basic. I wasn't sure how many this deck ran. But
also, Thopter Sword seems just very good against Maverick.
I think Thopter Sword is just his best thing to do in this matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty easy.
Against most fair matchups in general, I suppose.
If they're attacking with creatures, yeah.
Okay.
And I think he is. Although the downside is that the tokens created are blue.
Sure.
Right?
So Sword of Fire and Ice you're talking about?
Both that and also just Mother of Runes.
Sure.
You can always force through damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, blue Thopter artifact creature.
Yeah.
Looks like we get another attack with this Thalia. Thalia, really annoying to block. Baleful Strix is usually there to... it's mostly there to trade for Tarmogoyf.
So this is Green Sun Zenith for 0?
For 1. Oh no, for 0.
If he gets a 1-drop, I'm going to have to run out.
Yep. Hopefully he just gets... Nope, he gets Dried Arbor.
Arbor? Okay, good.
I gotta say, as someone who's watched a fair amount of people play with Thalia, it really brings me great joy when they remember they have Thalia in play.
Yes.
Looks like Kyle has Sword and Chalice in his hand. Chalice really not great right now. I don't even know what he wants to do. He has a Wasteland as well. 3rd Baleful Strix. All right, a whole swarm of owls.
Yeah, not the best on this board.
Yeah, it looks like Zeke had to cast that Zenith because he was short on lands. Well, Kyle drew another basic, which is pretty great. He's just going to immediately Wasteland Zeke off of that Dryad Arbor. An attack for 2. All right, Zeke gets to untap here, draw. He's got Deathrite in hand, which is going to be a pretty great card to get down. You really want to just prioritize getting your 1-drops into play before something like a Chalice comes down.
Yeah, one thing to be a little afraid of could be
Toxic Deluge.
Or Engineered Explosives.
Yeah, explosives would be a beating. We got Dak Faden, which does a whole bunch of nothing here.
Another interesting thing about Engineered Explosives and Thalia, you don't... Like, Kyle will be able to pay the Thalia tax with colored mana.
Yes.
And, cast it for 0.
Yeah, he says, I declare Engineered Explosives for 0, and I tap an island to cast it. It'll come in with 1 Sunburst.
Because a colored mana was used to pay to cast it.
Yeah.
A funny interaction.
I think he's going to cast, here's Chalice for 1, costing 3 because of the Thalia.
Thalia does some wonky things.
Yeah. Thalia is never not a bad Magic card. Never not a bad Magic card?
Well, Treasure Cruise made it look a little silly.
Well, Treasure Cruise was not a fair card. Thankfully, that's gone. All right. 1-drop's locked out of the game now. We'll see if Zeke draws any more. He's got, all of his good ones in play.